HD2.
Clearer, cleaner, smarter. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock on Monday, June 22nd. We're going to be having a warm one today, a high of 29, a little humid as well, already 14 degrees in Victoria. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. 20 fires burning across BC as of this morning, according to BC Wildfire Map. That's up from a dozen that we had burning on Friday. There's 3 new ones on Vancouver Island coming to the weekend, but they haven't gotten far. North Vancouver Island, there's a blaze southwest of Port McNeill along Island Highway. The perimeters of that one are considered being held. One discovered around 9 last night is located northwest of Shawnigan Lake around Mountain Road near Mountain Park. Another small one under control started Saturday on the northeastern flank of Port Alberni. So far, so good. A wildfire burning near Lytton has been growing away from communities. The weather has been helping in the fight against it. Fire Information Officer Paula Walbauer says the lighter winds have helped crews attack the north and south flanks of the Saw Creek fire, burning just south of that community. More than 230 properties have been affected by evacuation orders and alerts in the area due to that fire, which has also shut down more than 115-kilometer stretch of Highway 1. Next week will mark 5 years that a wildfire destroyed most of Lytton and killed 2 people. Much further south of us, officials in the Dominican Republic say 1 person killed, 3 others injured in that massive resort fire on Friday. Hundreds more are now stranded without proper documentation.
The dry, thatched roofs helping fuel the flames, which broke out Friday. One man seen running through the fire, warning people to get out. More than 1,600 guests, including more than 170 children, had to be evacuated. Firefighters working for 5 hours to get the fire under control.
A 46-year-old Italian tourist was rushed to hospital after she was injured. She did not survive. At least 3 others were hospitalized. Parks Canada's crews in Alberta are trying to combat the deadly fungus that causes white nose syndrome in bats. The fungal infection can wake hibernating animals and lead them to burn off fat reserves without food to hunt in the winter, so they end up starving to death. Nina Vescola is a biologist with Parks Canada who examined a cave in Jasper National Park that had infected bats. She says the infection can kill off an entire colony in bat roosts with small populations.
So even the bats that survive, there might be not enough of them to kind of huddle and stay warm or even reproduce. So we could be looking at like local extinction, also known as extirpation. The implications of these die-offs could be more severe here kind of in Jasper and in these smaller colonies.
Parks Canada is using probiotics that are meant to slow the spread of the fungus and the chance of infection on bats in hoping to further curb the spread. Across the pond the other way, UK Prime Minister, that is, Keir Starmer, announcing he is resigning. Starmer's support within the ruling Labour Party has plummeted following reports that he knew his ambassador to the U.S. had ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. In remarks this morning, Starmer says he will step aside following an election over the summer.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace.
More to come in that department. In the U.S., Iran's foreign minister says progress was made in mediated talks with the U.S. overnight. The talks were nearly derailed once again on Sunday.
Renewed Israeli attacks prompted Iran to once again threaten to close the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump then lashing out yesterday, warning Iran, you close it and you won't have a country. You won't even make it back to your expletive country, adding that he would, quote, blow the expletive out of them should the strait be closed. Iran's delegation appearing to walk out of the Swiss venue where the talks are being held. But overnight came word that the talks continued. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Last week's ceasefire signing by the U.S. and Iran did open the doors for the two nations to negotiate, but of course, things appear to have gone sideways again. And Stats Canada will release their latest reading for May in inflation today.
The consensus among economists is that the annual inflation rate rose to 3% in May from 2.8% in April. TD Bank senior economist Andrew Henchich says gasoline prices rose in May, so that will push inflation higher for the month, but oil prices have since come off their highs. So, he says he will be looking to see what prices are doing beyond gasoline in the report. The Bank of Canada has said there's been limited evidence of a broad-based pass-through of higher energy prices to the cost of other things so far. Michelle Zedekian, The Canadian Press.
That's your CFAX News to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question coming out of a nice weekend, and we are fully into the summer season now. So do you have plans to travel during the summer? 21% say they're flying somewhere cool, 51%, the majority, taking a road trip, and 28% say, nope, staying home, going to be some kind of staycation for you. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:06.
Hey, Lisa, warm one coming at us today. It's 14 degrees right now. The temperature, though, will get to 29, and we've got a bit of humidity in the air again, like we've had for the past couple of days. But the humidex today is 31, so feeling like 31 in the humidity. Always a little cooler if you're by the water. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the sports, and we'll start with the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Favored Spain got its first win 4-0 over Saudi Arabia. Also in Group H, tiny Cabo Verde, the second smallest country at the World Cup, stunned Uruguay with a 2-2 tie.
Sensational from Cabo Verde! Their first ever goal!
Egypt won atop Group G with a come-from-behind 3-1 win over New Zealand. Also in Group G, Belgium and Iran drew 0-0. Today, unbeaten defending champion Argentina meets 1-0 Austria. France takes on Iraq. Norway faces Senegal, and Jordan takes on Algeria. Canada resumed training on Sunday for its crucial next match. Wednesday, they'll take on Switzerland at 3 p.m. Eastern. A win or a tie, and Canada will finish first in the pool and play its first knockout game in Vancouver. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeart Radio app.
All right, and over to some local sports with the Victoria Harbour Cats. Baseball team beat the Port Angeles Lefties 15-5 yesterday afternoon on the road. That closed out a 3-game series over the weekend, with Victoria taking 2 of the 3 over the Lefties. Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game series tonight against the visiting Houston Astros in the majors. And back to Victoria, where the Shamrocks lacrosse team on the road, they had an 11-9 win over the Maple Ridge Burrards last night. Shamrocks are now 8 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties on the season. And that is your CFAX 1070 Sports at 6:09. 10 minutes after 6 here on a Monday morning. Welcome to the day. Let's check our CFAX traffic and weather, where right now it's looking pretty typical out there for the roads. No crashes or problems. If you see anything, let us know at 7:10:10. BC Ferries looking pretty typical as well. 7 o'clock sailing with no sailing weight. Everything is just fine this morning so far. We have in the weather forecast, though, a very warm day. Let's get a bit more detail at you now. So we've mentioned it's going to be sunny and warm. Humidex of 31 degrees, so feeling like 31 in the humidity. Otherwise, the temperature's 29. But if you're by the slightly breezy Wantafuka Strait, the temperature's more like 21 degrees, so very moderate if you're right by the water. Just quite getting hot inland today. A few clouds tonight. We'll see lows down to 14. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud. It's the same story again, just kind of warm and humid inland, but cooler by the water. And that's kind of going to be, the next couple of days. Wednesday, we start to cool off a bit. Thursday, we start to get cloudy. And by Thursday night or Friday, that's where we start to see some rain. So we're actually going to get a little cloudy and a little wet by the end of the week, and maybe taking us into the weekend as well. But for the next couple of days, just very warm and muggy. Right now, it's 16 degrees already. If you are in the sort of Finlayson Arm area of Saanich and by the Willis Point and all of those places. If you're right by the water, though, it's 11 degrees in Oak Bay. On the markets, North American stock markets have not opened up yet, so let's take a look at how things closed off the week last week. And here's Aaron Sousa.
Losses in the basic materials sector dragged down Canada's main stock index on Friday. Toronto's S&P TSX lost 111 points to 34,857. U.S. markets were closed for the Juneteenth holiday on Friday. In Tokyo, the Nikkei rose 1,100 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong lost 156. Our dollar is trading at 70 and 54 cents U.S. Today, StatCan will release inflation figures for May. Economists expect the annual inflation rate to rise to 3%, up slightly from April. TD Bank's Andrew Hensick says rising gas prices are likely the main driver. Contract talks start today between Unifor and Ford. This is the first of the Detroit 3 automakers to enter negotiations ahead of contracts expiring in September. Talks with Stellantis and General Motors are to follow once a deal with Ford is reached. And some workplaces are hosting FIFA World Cup watch parties to boost morale. One expert says they can foster connection and collaboration, but say setting clear expectations between work and fun is key. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Well, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here and making CFAX a part of your day, a part of your morning. So glad you could be here. I'm Ryan. Lisa's here. Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
I'm good, Ryan. Yeah.
The weekend was fantastic.
Wasn't
Maybe
it?
you checked out some of the Jazz Fest artists that were in town because, of course, we were giving away those tickets all last week, and now it's here. Jazz Fest has arrived for its 42nd year. 42 years.
I know. I was shocked at that, too. And they should be bragging more about that, I think. Like, let's push that, because when we hit 50, there's another milestone. But I think 42 years is incredible.
And I love that this is one of those festivals that really starts to get everywhere. It's because there's venues all across the city, and even in Esquimalt at Bullen Park now, and that's been a thing for the last few years. But I love that you can kind of just stumble into it sometimes. There it is all over the place, or you can seek it out at venues like the Royal Theatre, which is where I was on Friday night.
Nice.
If anybody saw me, it was great to see you. I couldn't see anybody because I was on the stage introducing a couple of the acts. But when you get up on the stage, there's lights on you and everything, and you're just looking into blackness. You can't see.
You might see the first row.
Maybe,
but you really got to squint.
I actually couldn't. It was just like a wall of black the way the lighting was. So I'm like introducing the acts and saying hi to everybody, and you can hear applause and stuff. So I could see there's people there, but I'm like, I can't see anybody.
You could hear them, but yeah, it's kind of wild that way. If you have stage fright, that's something to always keep in mind. Yeah. You can't really see anyone.
Yeah, you're just kind of in your own little black world.
That's why when the artists say, can you bring the stage light, can you bring the audience lights up if people want to clap along so they can actually see the audience respond. Yeah.
But anyways, I got to introduce the headliner, Miles Electric Band, who came in,
cool.
Did a fantastic performance. That was on the opening night Friday. You saw some stuff as well, didn't you?
I did. I saw the Ron DeLauro sextet.
Oh, with the
coming
trumpet.
in from Montreal. We talked to him.
Yeah.
And we talked to him last week. And so I talked to him afterwards. He was playing at Encore, by the way. If you've never been there, it's on Broad Street, just off of Pandora. And if you've never been there, I highly recommend you go. A really intimate little setting. They've cleaned it up. It's a different vibe now. And they actually have like a country night Wednesdays. They have a lot of different events going on. But I digress. Back to the jazz. I talked to Ron after the show. And remember he did that interview with us? And he just kind of launched.
He just went off
he went
on
all about
all
Miles.
of his jazz history.
And he said, well, it was all about Miles, and it was quite riveting. So you may not know this, but Ryan and I are looking at each other when this interview is going on. It's like, do we interject? It's like, well, no, this is really interesting. He's got this. So just let him flow. Let him, stream of consciousness. And he said that afterwards. He said, I just did an interview with Vancouver before I talked to you guys. And I know I kind of just took it and ran. I said,
oh, so he noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was aware of it.
He was quite
That's
aware
funny.
of it. Really nice man. And he said, I kind of felt bad afterwards. He said, no. I said, you're a wealth of information on this subject. And this is, by the way, they're a tribute band. Well, they're not a tribute band. They're all wonderful artists in their own right, all 6 of them. Incredible prowess on their instruments and in their talent. But they play and have for the past 16 years played Kind of Blue, Miles Davis's number one jazz selling album. Fantastic. It was, I think, arguably the number one album still in jazz.
I think I mentioned, I don't know if it was during the interview or not on Friday. I think I mentioned that album, if somebody says jazz to me, that's the thing that pops into my head.
Does.
That is like, for me, the archetypal example of what jazz is.
True, because he changed the way they play it. So they've been doing that for 16 years, touring on that. It's pretty incredible.
That's so
and
cool.
They are so incredibly good. So they played 2 shows, and they were very happy to be able to spend the Solstice Day here in Victoria. They hadn't been here for quite a while, since the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So they got to tour around and check out all of Victoria.
Oh, fun.
See other things, and then do a second show last night. But if they ever come back, which they want to, definitely see them, because Ron DeLauro.
That's great.
Phenomenal set.
Couple examples of the Jazz Fest artists that were over the weekend, but Jazz Fest continues all this weekend into next weekend, so watch out for that. Now, we were giving away the tickets last week, but this week we've got something else to give away.
Okay.
This is exciting. So we were just informed at the end of last week here on The Morning Show that, do you remember the Kinky Boots giveaway we did?
Sure do.
And we gave away a bunch of tickets because this show is actually coming up real soon. It's July 7th to the 12th at the Royal Theatre.
Oh, wow.
We discovered that we had some extra tickets to give away.
Well, we cleaned out promotions, and we found some in the corner collecting dust.
What an amazing find. So we will give away those tickets all this week. Do you remember what we did last time? We played Boots songs.
Oh, yeah.
Just songs that had anything to do with boots. So I think we're going to dust off the boots, and we're going to play songs over the course of the week during the morning show. If you hear one, that's your cue to call in and win the tickets. So that's coming up. Kinky Boots, the musical, the Broadway musical coming to Victoria, Royal Theatre, July 7th to 12th. More tickets to give away all this week. 6:18, over to the headlines with Lisa.
Thank you. Canada expected to soon choose a supplier for up to a dozen new subs. Contract worth tens of billions of dollars to replace the aging Victoria-class fleet. The competition is largely centered on bids from Hanwha Ocean and TKMS, with Hanwha drawing attention through the unusually aggressive public advertising campaign. In fact, they even parked a ship at CFB Esquimalt for a while. Unlike most sub-procurements, the public discussion has focused on industrial and economic benefits on that submarine's technical, rather than the submarine's technical capabilities. A decision is expected before the upcoming NATO summit, with both bidders promising to strengthen Canada's naval and defense capacities. If you didn't hear last week, well, there is no labor peace with the provincial nurses at this point. The union says nurses have voted 67%, or 2/3, to reject the tentative agreement reached between the nurses' bargaining unit and the BC health employer, the one they inked on May 22nd. The union claims that while the tentative agreement does include a lot of important gains, the majority of nurses want the government and health employers to recognize the true value of their work. And Stats Canada is releasing the Consumer Price Index for May, its latest inflation reading this morning. High oil and gas prices are pushing inflation higher for the month. A TD Bank senior economist, Andrew Hensick, says gas prices rose in May, so that will push inflation even higher for the month. I'll have those full numbers for you in about 10 minutes at 6:30. That's your news to 6:19.
Thank you, Lisa. Weirdly, here on Vancouver Island, we had not one but two federal party leaders. The Prime Minister was in Nanaimo. We had Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader, on the island as well. Let's talk a bit about that and some of the other things going on around town in just a moment. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 6:23. I've got one traffic thing to mention. I don't think this has necessarily started yet, but the City of Victoria advising that there will be a big closure coming to Government Street starting today. This is all the way from Bay to John Street. It's a 24-hour 7 closure, and it's going to last about a month once they fully close it off. They're doing some underground utility work. So a full closure of Government Street from Bay to John expected to start sometime today and then last for about a month. Over to the BC Ferries. No sailing rates right now. Lots of room left on the 7 from Swartz Bay to Sawasan. And in the weather forecast, sunny and warm for the next couple of days, both today and tomorrow. Looking like temperatures up to about 29 degrees, a humidex of 31, so feeling like 31 in the humidity. But then if you're by the windy Wantafuka Strait, it's going to feel like 20 degrees or 21 degrees, somewhere in there. So very different experiences depending on where you are around Victoria for today and tomorrow. Then it starts to cool off into Wednesday. Still sunny, though, for Wednesday. The clouds roll in for Thursday, and the rain comes sometime Thursday night or Friday. And we'll see some showers for a few days, kind of taking us into this next weekend. But yeah, really warm, though, for the next couple of days before we cool off and get a little damp.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Oh, and by the way, the CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season, wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived. Fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. All right, taking a look at some of the things that were going on over the weekend. We were talking about Jazz Fest, but the other thing that happened over the weekend, which was kind of curious, sometimes things just line up this way. We had both the Prime Minister and Conservative opposition leader on the island doing various things.
West Coast getting a lot of love.
Yeah, for some reason, we were all over the place. We'll start with Prime Minister Mark Carney. He was in Nanaimo yesterday. This was for National Indigenous Peoples Day. He was marking the occasion with an exhibit from the Nanaimo Culture Center at the museum in Nanaimo. He was given a wool nobility blanket traditionally made by the Nanaimo First Nation for high-ranking leaders, a headpiece made out of cedar. So he was up there taking in the festivities on Sunday. And then you had Pierre Poilievre. He had a rally on Saturday. I believe he went to the Q Center afterwards where they were doing a fight, like a boxing match of some kind. So he was there for those kind of things. So yeah, just weirdly one of those days or one of those weekends where everybody was here on the island.
Yeah, it's funny how they just seem to line that up.
Yeah. No, it was, I mean, for Mark Carney, I wondered if it had, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Sorry, I was being facetious.
I was wondering if it had anything to do with the fact that he was in Vancouver back on Wednesday for the big World Cup match. He was, of course, there in the BC Place Stadium when Canada had its first ever World Cup win. So I wonder if it's just like, let's line up a bunch of BC events. You're here anyways.
Absolutely, it is. You know, with Solstice on and National Indigenous Day. Absolutely. Like to celebrate somewhere, but to go somewhere other than Ottawa to do it, which is good.
Yeah.
Give the West Coast some love.
The other thing that was kind of happening yesterday was, speaking of the World Cup of Soccer, there was another BC Place Stadium game. This one wasn't featuring Team Canada, but of course other teams are using BC Place Stadium in Vancouver as a venue. And yesterday was Egypt and New Zealand at BC Place Stadium, and another little bit of history made. Egypt secured its first ever World Cup victory.
Lots of firsts here.
Yeah, it was neat because Canada got its first at BC Place Stadium just on Wednesday. Now Egypt has won its first ever. It had a 3-1 win over New Zealand, and they were saying that it was a sold-out crowd, by the way, 52,000 people there at BC Place Stadium.
Not surprising.
And they were saying that Egypt supporters appeared to outnumber the Kiwi fans. They've got a superstar player named Mohamed Salah.
Okay.
I guess he's a big deal in the world of soccer. He plays for Egypt, and I thought that was kind of cool. I like that Vancouver keeps getting taken over by different nationalities' fans just for a day, and in this time it seemed to be Egypt that was really out representing.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows the diversity of our country. Not everybody, of course, is a tourist coming in from Egypt to enjoy the game. So a lot of people who have Egypt background, or maybe parents or grandparents from that country, would obviously want to support the team as well.
And then we've got on Wednesday, of course, Vancouver will be the host again of Team Canada as they play another historic match. This will be Switzerland. And I was looking at, sorry to geek out on World Cup.
No, geek away.
So
this is big.
I was hearing people who know more about this stuff than me explain this to me. So if we're able to, have a good result on Wednesday against Switzerland, if Canada either wins or ties or does some combination of math with goals and stuff that gets us top of our group, we would get a chance to play in the knockout round in Vancouver again. So it books us a chance to play at BC Place Stadium. Because I guess
if we win Wednesday.
Win or draw.
Or draw, right.
Yeah. So that is a really cool opportunity to have another game in Vancouver featuring Team Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be great.
Considering, who are we playing? Switzerland?
Yeah, Switzerland.
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. And how does Switzerland rank? Do we know?
I think they rank pretty well.
Okay.
Compared to us at least.
Okay. So maybe it's going to be a bit more of a challenge for them on Wednesday.
It'll likely be the toughest challenge for our group.
Okay. It's not going to be a hockey score.
Exactly. Maybe not the 6-0 win that happened last week, but who knows? We'll find out. And I believe CFAX 1070 will be carrying the game on the radio again, so we'll be your home on the radio for that game if you want a chance to listen. We'll talk more about sports coming up in just a moment. Also, what's going on in the world in the news. Lisa's got your headlines all next.
Get ready to strut, Victoria. The Tony and Grammy Award-winning hit musical Kinky Boots is coming to the Royal Theatre this July. And CFAX 1070 wants to send you to opening night. Based on true events, Kinky Boots follows the journey of an unlikely pair who discover that you change the world when you change your mind. Tickets are on sale now. Or you could win your way in with CFAX. Listen to Mornings with Ryan and Lisa for your chance to win. Details at CFAX1070.com.
CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 6:31 on this Monday, June 22nd, a warm one today, with sunshine and highs eventually hitting 29. Cooler by the water. Right now it's 14 degrees. Let's get to the news, and here is Lisa Best.
Good morning. Police in Nanaimo are hoping a suspect's distinctive choice of clothing will help investigators identify him. Police say a man entered the University liquor store around 10:30 on the night of June 8th, attempted to purchase alcohol using a stolen credit card, but the card had already been canceled. They say the man left with a card. What was interesting is the man in his 20s, white man, was wearing a bright green poncho, pretty much covering his entire body, and an orange and white baseball cap. They do have photos circulating. If you know anything, you can contact Nanaimo RCMP. Vic PD reminding us about a planned phone system upgrade this morning. 911 services won't be affected. The work starts at 8 and is part of an ongoing effort to support new technology and strengthen long-term reliability with the system. Now, due to this scheduled upgrade, the Vic PD non-emergency line may be having temporary disruptions between 8 this morning and noon. A temporary non-emergency number will still be active, and of course, 911 is not affected. AI safety advocates say the federal government's proposed online safety legislation is a good start on regulating artificial intelligence chatbots, but they say more work will be needed to protect Canadians from the potential harms.
Bill C-34 was introduced earlier this month in the House of Commons and would regulate the companies behind AI chatbots with measures to lower the risk of chatbots communicating harmful content. It would also put in place crisis intervention protocols for cases involving self-harm, suicide, or violence. The founder of Artificial Intelligence Governance and Safety Canada suggests that AI platforms should be forced to recognize a user's sign of mental health distress, point them to resources, and end the conversation to prevent any harm. Ottawa's efforts come as one New Brunswick mother hopes to hold AI accountable for her daughter's death by suicide. Naira Ahmed, the Canadian Press.
Stats Canada says high gas prices pushed the annual rate of inflation to 3.2% in the month of May.
That's up from 2.8% in April and marks the first time annual inflation has topped 3% since late 2023. The agency says gas prices rose for the third consecutive month in May, thanks to the Middle East war and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, though progress toward a peace deal has meant prices at the pumps were lower in recent weeks. Meanwhile, higher prices for fresh fruit and vegetables pushed grocery store inflation up 0.5 percentage point to 4.3% in May. Michelle Zedekian, the Canadian Press.
The Canadian men's national team centre back Derek Cornelius used to be able to walk down Canadian streets without anyone recognizing. He says that is not the case anymore. He says Canada's run at this summer's FIFA World Cup has shone a bright new light on many of the national squad players, and it's helping fuel their success.
I think for a lot of the guys, maybe when we're playing in our European teams, that when you go out on the street, you could maybe get recognized and ask for pictures and autographs, but not so much in Canada. But honestly, the last 2 weeks, we go out of the hotel and it's like, we're getting swarmed, and it's nice. It means that, the team, people are following, people are really paying attention.
Rockstar effect on the pitch. And Canada wraps Group B play against Switzerland and Vancouver on Wednesday. Ryan will have a lot more to come, unpacking all of this and what's ahead in sports. And on the box office big screen, a classic Pixar franchise returned to the top of the heap this weekend.
Extinction, not again!
Toy Story 5 took the top spot in movie theaters this weekend. At $160 million domestic, the animated sequel is now the biggest opening of 2026, besting the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
People are starved for the truth.
Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day fell to second place in its second weekend. The Alien thriller added another $17 million this weekend. And the low-budget horror Obsession just keeps on drawing crowds, earning another $14 million in ticket sales. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That's your CFAX News to 6:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning, we're asking, do you plan to do any traveling this summer? 21% are going to fly somewhere cool. It's a road trip for 51% voting, and 28% say nope, staying home. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or in the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Sebastian News Time, 6:37.
Thank you, Lisa. Warm and muggy today for Victoria. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now to the CFAX 1070 Sports. Starting local, the Victoria Harbour Cats in action on the road all this weekend. They were in Port Angeles playing the Lefties yesterday for an afternoon matchup. It was a 15-5 win for Victoria, which means the Harbour Cats close out that three-game series with 2 wins out of the 3. The Toronto Blue Jays in the majors are opening up a 3-game series tonight against the visiting Houston Astros. The Jays had yesterday off. Back to Victoria, Shamrocks lacrosse team on the road. They had an 11-9 win over the Maple Ridge Burrards last night. Shamrocks are now 8 wins and 1 loss and 0 ties on the season. There are 4 games at the World Cup today. Here's what's going on. We got in the United States all of the games. Argentina playing Austria in Dallas. Jordan meeting Algeria in San Francisco. France and Iraq do battle in Philadelphia. Norway plays Senegal in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Last night, it was Vancouver hosting Egypt and New Zealand, where Egypt got its first ever win at a World Cup, 3-1 at BC Place Stadium. Over to hockey. This is off the ice, obviously. We're kind of in the offseason, but some drama still in Ottawa, where Senators moving forward without their captain and their leader in countless categories, and the guy has been the face of the franchise, Brady Tkachuk, who spent 8 years in the nation's capital, was traded yesterday to the Florida Panthers, where he will join forces with his older brother, Matthew. Ottawa will receive 4 draft picks from the Panthers, including Florida's first-round 9th overall pick this year. And in the world of tennis, Serena Williams will play singles at Wimbledon after accepting a wild card invitation. The All England Club made the announcement 8 days before the grass court Grand Slam starts, and it meant the 44-year-old Williams will play both singles and doubles at Wimbledon after already accepting a wild card for the doubles competition with older sister Venus. That's your CFAX Sports to 6:39. It's 6:40 here on a Monday morning. What's going on in Victoria? Well, we will have a closure of Government Street from Bay to John that starts today. It's a full closure, 24/7 once it gets started today, and it's expected to last for about a month. Underground utility work is what they're doing there, so watch out for that being a thing maybe a little later this morning. Not seeing that as much of a factor right now. That's more of a heads up for later. For the rest of the commute, it's looking pretty typical. If you see a crash or something else out there causing trouble, text me at 71010, but none of that right now, and no problems with the BC ferries. The weather is very warm today, so we got this temperature up to 29 degrees, but some mugginess in the air making it feel warmer. That's today and tomorrow, except if you're by the Wandafuka Strait where the wind's blowing, it's more like 21 degrees in the forecast. So very different experiences. Very moderate to very, very warm and muggy. You got those two sides of things for Victoria today. Then for overnight temperatures, it's a low down to 14 degrees with a few clouds. We actually are going to start to see more and more cloud over the course of the week. And by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's overcast. And we'll see some rain coming in Thursday night, lasting through parts of Friday, maybe even Saturday as well. So some rain and cooler temperatures and clouds on the way for the end of the week, but very warm and sunny for today. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They are designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Well, North American stock markets have not opened yet. Well, the opening bells have just been ringing out, but I don't have any results yet from trading. We will let you know what happened last week, though. S&P TSX closed down 111 points to 34,857 to close on Friday. The American markets were closed for the Juneteenth holiday, and Canadian dollar has been at 70.6 cents U.S. in overseas trading. And the inflation news has come out. We'll see what this does to the markets, but inflation jumped to 3.2% in Canada in the month of May, and higher gas prices getting the blame for a lot of that. That's from Statistics Canada out this morning.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Oh, you know what else I did, Lisa, this weekend?
What?
I went to, what was it? It's Mitchell's farm. You know, you go down.
You did, eh?
You go down Pat Bay Highway.
Yeah.
And you see the big farm building there by Island View. Went in, and I was just delighted to see all of the fresh berries they had from the farms right there.
Right.
And I mean, this is the case all over the place right now, just berries in season all over the place.
Yeah.
And then had them with some whipped cream.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just love a good berry. A good
What kind of berry did you buy?
Well, there was raspberries.
Uh-huh.
And then there's still a few strawberries around, although they're kind of getting near the end of their season. But
Okay.
I'm mentioning all of this not just because I love the fact that there's local berries everywhere, but because Fiona Hammersley Chambers from Machosen Farm is joining us for our gardening chat in a few moments, and she's going to be doing a little ode to strawberries.
Oh, I love it.
So that's coming up.
Love strawberries.
And talking about that. So, and there's a bit more to it than you think when it comes to the strawberry. Fiona's always full of surprises. And you think you understand strawberries, and then Fiona talks to you about it. And you...
She's a strawberry whisperer?
And you go, oh, I didn't have any idea the depths of strawberry knowledge that was out there. So
if anyone's going to be able to deliver that, it would be Fiona.
So we'll be happy to get into the garden. It's our gardening chat coming up in just a few moments, so stand by for that. We will kick it over to the news headlines first, and Lisa's going to tell us what's going on in the world.
Workplace experts say the FIFA World Cup, all these games, is giving employers a simple way to boost morale and strengthen connections among employees. Mike Schenkman says global events such as this can create excitement in the workplace, particularly with matches being hosted here on the West Coast in Toronto. Some companies are organizing office watch parties as part of a broader effort to reduce burnout and support a positive workplace culture. Schenkman says that employers should balance the celebrations with clear expectations so that you don't become overly disruptive to your workday. And no kidding, the office party can only go so far, or can it? It's up to you. Parks Canada is using probiotics to make an effort to slow the spread of white nose syndrome among the bat population in Alberta. The fungal disease causes bats to wake prematurely from hibernation that depletes their fat reserves and often leads to their demise. White nose syndrome can wipe up to 98% of a bat colony and was recently detected in several Alberta caves, which is, of course, raising the alarm among conservationists. While probiotics are not a cure, they can inhibit the growth and spread of the fungus, offering some protection to the vulnerable colonies. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer throwing in the towel. He'll remain the caretaker until the Labour Party chooses a new leader. He announced his resignation earlier today. Starmer was forced out by his own party after domestic missteps and economic stagnation soured voters' goodwill. Though he led Labour to a landslide general victory just 2 years ago, his popularity has since plummeted. And that is your news to 646.
All right, our gardening chat with Fiona coming up in just a few moments. So we'll do our traffic and weather check first. If you see something out there causing trouble, do text me, because so far the morning looks pretty easy, but maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to hear how the commute's going for you, even if it's going well. It's just nice to check in sometimes. Text us at 71010 and join the conversation.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Yeah, let us know how it's going out there. Right now, though, it looks pretty good. No crashes, no accidents, no problems on the morning commute. The volume delays from the West Shore into downtown Victoria have been pretty light so far. I'm not seeing much of that as far as build-up is concerned. We do have one note from the City of Victoria that they're going to have a big old closure of Government Street. This is all the way from Bay to John. It's 24 hours 7 once it gets going. I don't think it's in effect yet, but this will be coming. They're scheduled to start it today, and then once they do it, it's going to be a month-long 24/7 closure. Again, that little stretch of Government from Bay to John Street, they're doing some underground utility work. Fully closed vehicles. Bike lanes will be closed. Big disruption there. For the weather forecast today, it's a very warm, humid one today. Mainly sunny. We'll have temperatures of 29 degrees, but a humidex of 31, so feeling like 31 in the humidity. But if you're by the water, you got a little breeze off the Wandafuga Strait, and the temperature by the coastline is 21 degrees, so extremely different temperatures depending on exactly where you are in Greater Victoria over the course of today. And then that same forecast repeats tomorrow after an overnight low of about 14 degrees. Starts to moderate on Wednesday. Gets a little cooler, and then the clouds really roll in for Thursday. Chance of showers by sometime Thursday night into Friday. We'll see some rain Friday, Saturday. And the temperatures are also cooling off quite a bit. We'll see temperatures as a high into the high teens, like a 10-degree difference once we hit the weekend. Cooling off and getting wet. That's the short story. Right now in Victoria, temperatures around the region. In Langford right now, let's take a look. It's 13 degrees. In Saanich by the University of Victoria, our temperature is 15 degrees.
Getting into the garden.
Well, this ought to be good.
It's very creative. With Ryan and Lisa.
Wow.
We are getting into the garden with Fiona Hammersley Chambers from Machosen Farm. Fiona, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. We're good. We're picking seed crops like strawberries.
Isn't that what you're always doing? You're a seed farm. This is, by the way, in case we don't say it enough, Machosen Farm, where you are. Whenever we talk to you, you're a seed farm. You're growing all these cool things for us to go buy as seeds. And one of the things you do is strawberries, not just regular strawberries. You got these like white strawberries and all these crazy strawberries. So we thought maybe strawberries would be a thing to talk about today.
Let's talk strawberries. First of all, did you know that a strawberry is not a fruit?
I did not know that. So is it a berry then?
Ish. It's technically an enlarged receptacle.
That doesn't sound very sexy.
No, or does it? I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing. Have you ever picked a raspberry before?
Yes.
Okay, so you pick a raspberry. What's left on the plant after you pick that fruit off?
That little bud? Like the center?
So that's called a receptacle. And so a raspberry is a composite fruit. So it's made up of all these little drupelets, like individual fruit. So a definition of a fruit is you've got a seed with a kind of fleshy covering around it, and the seed is in the middle. So a strawberry cannot be a fruit because the seeds are on the outside.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I guess when you look at a strawberry, that's what if you look closely, you'll notice it's just the whole outside of it is covered in little tiny seeds. You don't even necessarily think about it like that, but they kind of are.
Exactly. So it's a receptacle, which is, if you were, again, picking a raspberry, you would have that left on the plant. But in this case, the receptacle has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger with a dry seed on the outside of it.
Huh. Did nature do that, or did we do that with breeding these things?
Nature did that, and then we kind of got in there and selected and crossed and bred new varieties. Pretty well almost of the modern cultivars of strawberries that we have are the result of parents, which were the result of an accidental crossing in the garden at Versailles in France with Josephine's botanist, Joseph de Tournefort, who had wild strawberries from the east of Canada and eventually was gifted a plant of Fragaria chiloensis, which is our native beach strawberry from the west coast of Canada. And those two would never have come into contact with each other. And he was very disappointed as a botanist because our beach strawberry has these fabulous big flowers and then tiny little fruit. So when those two crossed, they hybridized, and as you often get in an F1, so first generation of a hybrid, he got the large flowers and really large fruit. And that's kind of where it all started.
Sorry, hang on. Wait, rewind. I'm just blown away by this. Are you saying that there's like an East Coast strawberry and a West Coast strawberry from Canada, and they end up in Versailles, and that's where they kind of mingled and created... What strawberry got created? What?
We need a longer segment. How do you fit this into 2 minutes? Yes, that's exactly what happened. It was an accidental cross, and Joseph de Tournefort, which was Marie Antoinette's personal botanist, which I think is lovely to have a personal botanist, he noticed in the garden at Versailles that there was what we call a sport. And a sport is when you have a seedling that comes up on its own, and it's the result generally of, certainly in terms of fruit, it's generally the result of a bird coming along eating a fruit that has been the result of cross-pollination, and then it poops the seed out somewhere with a pile of fertilizer and something grows. And we have a number of new varieties here at Metchosin Farm that are the result of that exactly. We've got 2 new ornamental and very delicious elderberry varieties because we grow about 6 kinds of elderberries already. And then they cross-pollinate, and then the birds come along and spread seed. And when those seedlings come up, you notice, oh, wait a minute, you're just a different little character here. You've got a different colored leaf or a different shape. And we tend to pop those on and stick them in our nursery area and just watch them. So that's what happened in Versailles. And that initial F1 cross, if you will, between the native beach strawberry here on the West Coast and the strawberry on the East Coast, that was just a perfect hybridization. And that population has been used as some parent lines in most of the modern day strawberry varietals that we have.
So most of the modern day strawberry varieties we are used to all came out of that. Yeah. With Marie Antoinette and all of that.
That's within their parentage, yes.
Amazing.
How did we get white strawberries?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about the parental line of these. These are an alpine or a woodland strawberry, so they're quite ornamental, and they're delicious. We also have one that's white that is a Fragaria strawberry in Latin. It's a Fragaria ananacea. So if you speak French, ananas is pineapple. So these are a white pineapple strawberry, and those are delicious, and they taste bizarrely of pineapple when you eat them. And the seeds are kind of pink on the outside, which is fun.
Oh, cool. And you grow those at the farm?
We do, yeah.
Okay. Huh. Strawberries. Okay, I've learned so many things.
We always associate red with strawberries,
Yeah.
so at least, in general terms. But
what other colored strawberries are there?
Here's many. And here's the thing, is I guess strawberries are a good example of this, of just the poverty in our food system right now, where we have a very few number of large companies controlling the majority of the industrial seed supply. And then you have, three companies now in Canada control, 70% of the grocery distribution, yes. Like Loblaws, Sobeys, and somebody else. Maybe I'm getting this wrong, but
no, you're in that ballpark.
You see less and less diversity in our food system. And now you don't know what you don't know, right? So if you've got a whole generation of people that think strawberries are only red and they only come from Driscoll's in Mexico in the winter, we've got a problem.
Well, there you go.
A
lot to think about when it comes to the strawberry, kind of as we hit the end of our strawberry season here locally, but that's just fascinating. I learned so many cool things, as I always do. Fiona Hammersley-Chambers from Metchosin Farm, thank you again for enlightening us as we talk gardening.
You're welcome. And you know what? You're only hitting the end of the June-bearing commercial strawberry crop. You are not hitting the end of strawberry season. These white alpines will go all the way through the summer, as will the red alpines. And then you also have ever-bearing strawberries, which you don't tend to get so much in the commercial market in the stores because the fruit are smaller. So if you have a home garden or a patio planter, or maybe you're growing on the top of the Johnson Street Bridge,
cool.
Then you should look at having ever-bearing strawberries because those will carry you through the summer months.
Oh, love it. Good tip there.
Thank you.
Hey, we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take a break in a moment. We got the 7 o'clock news with Lisa. We've got a very warm weather forecast for you today with a lot of humidity in the air. It's going to be warm inland, cooler by the water, though. As always, it is Greater Victoria. So, yeah, your news, sports, weather, everything you need to know to start your day is coming up next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock on Monday, June 22nd. It's going to be warm today. A humid day in store for Greater Victoria. Right now, the temperature is 13 degrees at the airport. We got 15 degrees in Colwood. We'll tell you the full forecast in a moment. Right now, here's Lisa with the news.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. We have about 20 fires burning across BC this morning. We're up from a dozen on Friday due to the hot, dry weather. 3 new fires on Vancouver Island haven't gained much ground. North Vancouver Island, there's a blaze southwest of Port McNeill. That's along Island Highway. The perimeters of that one are considered being held by fire crews currently. Another discovered around 9 last night, located northwest of Shawnigan Lake Road along Mountain Road. That one considered under control. And another small fire under control started Saturday on the northeastern flank of Port Alberni. A wildfire burning near Lytton in the interior has been growing away from communities. The weather's been helping in the fight against it after it closed a highway. Fire Information Officer Paula Walber says lighter winds have helped crews attack the north and south flanks of the Saw Creek fire burning just south of the community. More than 230 properties have been affected by the evacuation order and alerts in the area due to the blaze, which has shut down a more than 115-kilometer stretch of Highway 1. Next week will mark 5 years ago that a wildfire destroyed most of Lytton and killed 2 people. Canada expected to choose a supplier soon for a dozen new submarines, a contract worth tens of billions to replace the aging Victoria-class fleet. The competition is largely centered on bids from Hanwha Ocean and TKMS, with Hanwha drawing attention through an unusually aggressive public advertising campaign, even parking a vessel at CFB Esquimalt for a spell. Unlike most submarine procurements, the public discussion has focused more on industrial and economic benefits than on the submarine's technical capabilities. A decision expected before the upcoming NATO summit, with both bidders promising to strengthen Canada's naval and defence capacities. The union representing nearly 19,000 Canadian auto workers is kicking off contract talks today with Ford, the first of the Detroit 3 automakers to sit down with the hammer to hammer out that collective agreement.
The latest round of bargaining comes during difficult conditions for the auto sector as it copes with U.S. tariffs, uncertainty linked to the future of CUSMA, and the introduction of Chinese electric vehicles into Canada. The union says it's keen to secure protections around job security, with the auto manufacturing sector having lost nearly 6,500 total jobs since February last year. Talks with Stellantis and GM are expected to come after a deal is reached with Ford. Michelle Zedikian, The Canadian Press, Toronto.
Labour disruption with the BC Nurses Union say most of its members have voted to reject a tentative agreement reached with the employer last month. The union says 2/3, about 67%, voted against the deal. It says the vote is a powerful message from nurses across the province that their working conditions need to improve. A national cannabis lobby group representing licensed producers and processors is now suspending operations, citing challenges tied to the unregulated cannabis market. The Cannabis Council of Canada says the decision reflects the headwinds facing the industry as companies are challenged by financial pressures, complex regulations, and the highly active illicit market. Organizations say these pressures have put a strain on the producers and the processors that it represents. The council's president says the organization has been calling on Ottawa to establish a national strategy for eradicating the unregulated market. They say the business the council represents generates business and billions in revenue, but the majority of them remain unprofitable due to the other market. And the U.S. president says work will begin immediately to repair the peeling lining of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. An administration official confirms at least 5 people have been arrested on vandalism charges related to that waterway. On the Start Here broadcast today, ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang explains how much this is going to cost the U.S. taxpayers.
First of all, the companies that renovated the pool were awarded no-bid contracts worth nearly $15 million, despite having virtually no federal experience doing federal contracts. Then the cost is actually more than that because the Park Service is paying more than $1.7 million to a company to install that nanobubble system to kill the algae.
That company, along with the water purification business that's owned by a longtime donor to the U.S. president, bypassed the traditional bidding process that's typically used to do work on national parks. And that is your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question we're asking, do you plan to do some traveling this summer? 28% say nope, they're staying home. 51% say it'll be a road trip. And 21% say they're going to fly somewhere cool. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 7:06.
Thank you, Lisa. CFAX Morning Show here, brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home in the mat of the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Full forecast to come with a warm, muggy day in store for today and tomorrow. Right now, over to CFAX 1070 Sports. Locally, Victoria Shamrocks lacrosse team in action. They were on the road last night with an 11-9 win over the Maple Ridge Burrards. So the Shamrocks now 8 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties on the season. They're going to continue with another road game coming up next weekend. And for the Victoria Harbour Cats baseball team, they beat the Port Angeles Lefties 15-5 yesterday afternoon. That closes out a 3-game series over the weekend, with the Harbour Cats taking 2 of the 3 games. The Toronto Blue Jays are in action again today after having yesterday off. They open up a 3-game series against the visiting Houston Astros. And at the World Cup of Soccer, 4 games tonight, all of these ones taking place in the U.S. Argentina plays Austria in Dallas. Jordan meets Algeria in San Francisco. France and Iraq do battle in Philadelphia. Norway and Senegal play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And this is, of course, all the group stage games continuing. The next Canada appearance is this Wednesday at BC Place Stadium in Vancouver. They'll take on Switzerland for the final of Canada's and Switzerland's group match games. And at BC Place Stadium last night, it was Egypt securing its first ever World Cup win, defeating New Zealand 3-1 at BC Place Stadium in front of a sold-out crowd of 52,000 people, where Egypt supporters appeared to outnumber the Kiwi fans, with fans erupting for that country's first ever win. Took place in Vancouver. Over to the hockey scuttlebutt. The Ottawa Senators are going to get rid of their leader, captain, and the face of the franchise. Brady Tkachuk will be leaving the Senators. He spent 8 years there in the nation's capital, but he's been traded to the Florida Panthers, where he'll join forces with his older brother, Matthew. Ottawa, in exchange, will receive 4 draft picks from the Panthers, including Florida's first-round 9th overall pick this year. That is your CFAX 1070 Sports. It's 7:09. CFAX 1070 Morning Show is also brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season, Wild Pacific Sockeye Salmon has arrived. Fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, I still have no crashes or accidents. Things seem to be very clear this morning on our major routes. If you are coming from the West Shore into Victoria, not much in the way of backups. Got the Trans-Canada Highway and the Sooke Road Island Highway route into town looking very clear, weirdly, as of right now. We do have a big old road closure. Government Street, this is Bay Street to John Street. It's kind of between Bay Street and Gorge Road, Hillside. You know, the big old Hillside intersection. So kind of between there and Bay Street is going to be closed now for about a month as of today as they do some underground utility work. So that could be an obstruction as you head into town today. But otherwise, yeah, things are looking pretty good. For the BC Ferries, no problems. For the weather, I've got no problems there. It's going to be warm, though, muggy. Humidex of 31 today, highs of 29 degrees otherwise. And if you're by the water, it's a high of 21. So very different temperatures depending on where you are, with a bit of breeze and more moderate temperatures by the Juan de Fuca Strait. Tonight, a few clouds, lows to 14. Tomorrow, it's the exact same forecast again. Mainly sunny, highs of 28. Feeling warmer in the humidity, feeling cooler by the water. It changes on Wednesday with a mix of sun and cloud and temperatures coming down to about the low 20s. Then the clouds arrive for Thursday. Then the rain arrives sometime on Thursday night or into Friday. We'll see some showers for a few days and much cooler temperatures into the high teens as a high once we kind of hit the end of the week and into the weekend. Yeah, but far cry from that right now. It's going to be quite a warm day today. For the official temperature at the Victoria International Airport, it's right now 15 degrees. Getting our first look at the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto up 211 to 35,068. The Dow in New York is up 245 to 51,810. The S&P 500 up 18 to 7,519. And the Canadian dollar at 70.6 cents US, which is down a little bit from the close on Friday. And Statistics Canada with its inflation numbers this morning. Inflation has jumped to 3.2% in May. StatsCan saying higher gas prices, one of the main reasons life was costing us a little more in the month of May in Canada.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Hey, a reminder again that sometime on the show today, we will play a song that references boots somehow.
Right.
And if you hear that, that's your cue to call 250-386-1161 and win Kinky Boots tickets. This is the Tony and Grammy Award-winning hit musical Kinky Boots that's coming to the Royal Theatre really soon. It's running starting July 7th and then going for a few days. I mean, and weirdly, July 7th is not that far away.
I know. It's 2 weeks away. I just looked. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's basically the show's in 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
I'm having trouble processing how quickly summer's arriving. I mean, yesterday...
It's already July.
Yeah, it feels like it's almost here. And then yesterday was the solstice, of course.
Yes.
So it is actually summer now. It's felt like summer for about a month.
It's the first full day of summer. Yeah.
Yeah, today we're in the first full day. That's a good point.
It's going to be hot today, right?
It's going to be hot. It feels like summer. We saw the sunrise at 5:12. We're going to see the sunset at 9:19 tonight.
Okay.
And then, of course, the twilight takes you for quite a while after that.
That's so nice.
It does start to get a little darker from here on, but...
Stop.
But,
It's too soon.
We're so close to the lightest and brightest and longest time of the year that it's going to be a while before you start to notice that. But
I have a friend on the weekend I was talking to who does have a good dose of seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
And his comment was, winter's coming now.
Yeah, I know. Well,
and I said, wait, can we just dial it back a little bit?
Yeah. When it starts to shorten off, you start to feel it like, oh no.
Later, not now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long time before you notice it feeling any darker. Don't worry too much about
Kids will be back in school by then.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids.
So, we are speaking of this.
Hey, wait, your kids are getting out of school soon.
Oh, yeah, I should be sure. One of the things this week is the last week of school. I think depending on your school district and, what level of school you are, high school versus middle school versus elementary school, I think your last day of school might be different. But for a lot of the school kids around Greater Victoria, at some point this week, it'll be the last day of school.
Right.
How cool is that?
And we're seeing lots of graduations happen, of course, too.
Yeah, exactly.
And congratulations to all the grads and for getting there. So grads are on, grad parties are on, and also little ones will be out on the roads, not literally on the roads, but they may not be looking for you in your car. with the change happening with school getting out. So just be aware, playground zones, school zones. Kids are more active. The summer's here, they might be out on their bikes. Watch for them.
The other thing that I want to talk about with this stage of the season being here is it's almost Canada Day. And Canada Day festivities will be taking place pretty soon.
It's middle of the week, right?
In the lead up to, this time, Canada Day is a weird time of year because the 1st of July is actually a Wednesday, next week, Wednesday.
It's 10 days from now.
So some folks are doing their Canada Day stuff on the weekend coming up.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Like the fact that we've got the big concert going on in Langford, Starlight Stadium, the one featuring
huge.
Our Lady Peace and some other great Canadian acts.
Tea Party's
coming too. We're going to talk to one of the organizers of that coming up in just a few moments. This is the Great Canada Day Bash, which they're hosting, and the guy who's kind of putting it on, he's going to join us on the show next to talk about what's going on with that.
Nice.
One last thing. Sorry, I'm kind of scattered. I got all these things.
Well, you've got a list.
So many things.
Coming out of the weekend, there's always a list.
There's always things. No, but this is just a text message. 71010. I was mentioning the fact that Government Street's going to be closed starting today and for about a month. This is right around Bay Street and a little north to John Street.
Correct.
But I was like, people might not know where John Street is. So I said it's kind of almost to the big multi-intersection of Hillside and Government and all of those.
Okay.
Texter at 71010 says, "Hey, Ryan. Hi, Lisa. History of Victoria for you. It used to be called the Roundabout, that area that meets Hillside, Douglas Gorge, and Government here. Yeah, it used to be a giant roundabout."
Oh, we just triggered.
Well, no, but I think I wonder if one day we could go back to it because where all those 5 streets all combine and
now
there's all
you're
those
poking
awkwards.
the bear.
I think it could be a roundabout again.
Say traffic circle for us.
People love traffic circles. No, but I think that area, once you think about it and you think that it used to be a giant roundabout, you could understand why. And I think there's some logic to maybe that being a roundabout again.
Consider the amount of collisions that do happen there. I would say yes, because with a roundabout, people have to pay attention. That would be a big one. If we put that in there, which no one is planning this and no one's even discussing it but us.
It just used to be. It used to be, says the texter.
A decent idea to look at. But would it happen? We'll see.
Yeah, you see all these historic photos of it. There's a big fountain in the middle and everything. It was cool.
Let us know what you think. Do you think this should be a roundabout?
We're not.
Now I'm really poking the bear.
Hey, I blame the texter. No, I don't. Thank you so much for texting at 71010.
We
love
took it and ran with it.
We love it when you join the conversation. Weigh in.
It's a good reaction.
But yeah, we're going to talk about the big Canada Day Bash coming up in Langford in just a moment. But right now to the headlines with Lisa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney on the island yesterday up in Nanaimo to officially mark National Indigenous Peoples Day. The Prime Minister visiting an Indigenous exhibit on the Snuneymuxw culture at the Nanaimo Museum led by Elder William White. Carney was gifted a wool nobility blanket and a headpiece made of cedar. The day honors the culture course histories and contributions of First Nations, Inuit and Métis people coast to coast. Muslim groups and Federal Culture Minister Mark Miller reacting after a imam was assaulted in Victoria last week. The BC Muslim Association says the leader was sitting in his vehicle near his home on Thursday when someone attempted to force open the car and assaulted him. A spokesperson for the association says the imam suffered light head injuries but was well enough to conduct prayers on Friday. In a social media post, Miller called the assault appalling and vile. And Amazon already posting some of its early bird sales, which are in addition to the lightning deals and other discounts being offered for Prime Day tomorrow. Mashable says they're including up to 65% off Kindle e-readers and Fire tablets. You'll also find prices as low as $1 on Amazon Haul, which is the site's budget-friendly storefront. Experts remind you can load up your cart now. You can always remove what you don't want later, or you can just shop local. Support Victoria, too. That's your news to 7:18. Ryan's on the phone. And now Ryan's back.
Oh, sorry. I was just talking.
That's quite all right.
Talking to our next guest on the phone. He's John Derry from Collective Entertainment. That's the folks who are putting on the Great Canadian Bash, featuring the likes of Our Lady Peace, the Tea Party, some of these other great Canadian artists who will be coming to Langford to help ring in the nation's birthday, which is oddly on a Wednesday this week. So the big Starlight Stadium event is going to be taking place on the weekend.
Nice.
So let's get into that in just a moment. We'll also do our traffic and weather. If you see anything out there, crash, accident, any other things causing trouble, roundabouts that you want to see.
Oh, no.
Or not.
Oh,
you can text at 71010. I just got one.
It's not a traffic circle.
Dawn has texted. Dawn
Florida?
says, if we put a roundabout in,
Yeah.
we will lose so many people that will never escape and will continue to go around and around for the rest of their lives.
And then we'll have to build a subdivision within the roundabout so people could live there.
Yeah, and then you won't have to go. Yeah.
I've seen that before. I've been that tourist.
Yeah, who
in
just
larger
gets-
roundabouts like Mexico City.
Yeah.
I've been trapped there for
And
days.
you're like, I don't know how to get out of this, so I guess I just drive around in a circle for the
I
rest
got
of my
my
life.
signal
That's
on.
all I do.
Nothing's happening.
We'll take a break. Traffic and weather and the big Canada Day Bash and the info you need for that coming up next.
Hey, it's Josh Hilton. On the new iHeartRadio app, presets are a game changer. You can save your go-to stations like CFAX 1070, your favorite podcasts, and even digital stations. Download the free iHeartRadio app today and preset CFAX 1070.
CFAX traffic and weather. It's 7:23 on a Monday, and we have fairly light conditions out there. I'm noticing the traffic volume backups from the Trans-Canada Highway into town or the Suk Road Island Highway route into town from the West Shore in are looking lighter than usual. It's not taking you too long at all to get through. So fingers crossed it stays that way. No crashes anywhere. We do have the big road work starting up on Government Street. This is going to take you from John Street to Bay Street, or Bay Street to John Street, depending on which way you're going. Just a full closure 24/7, and it's going to last a month. So that stretch of Government Street is one to avoid starting today. For the weather forecast, warm, mainly sunny today. We are going to see a high of 29, a humidex of 31, but then a temperature by the water of 21. So it's all over the place. If you don't like the temperature, just go down the road, and it's going to be very different around Victoria today. It's the same tomorrow, but then it starts to cool off as the weekend hits. We're going to get some clouds by Thursday with some showers on and off. We'll see temperatures more like the high teens once we hit the weekend. For the temperatures right now, the official one is 15 degrees at the Victoria International Airport. In Langford, though, it is 14 degrees.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Speaking of the weekend, well, a lot of Canada Day festivities are going to start this weekend. I can't believe we're there. Like, how are we there in the year already? Wednesday is actually Canada Day of next week. But
I can actually say Merry Christmas and really seal the envelope for you. But
it's almost Christmas at this point.
Stop.
No, it's not.
Gotta have summer first.
You said it, not me.
Gotta have the music.
Yeah, summer is here. It's arrived. Kids will be out of school by the end of the week. And man, one of the things that's going on is a big old great Canadian bash happening in Langford. And here to talk about is John Derry from Collective Entertainment. Sir, how you doing?
I'm very well. How are you folks?
Great to talk to you. So this is the big thing that Langford's been doing, Starlight Stadium, to celebrate Canada Day. We got some big acts coming for this one. Our Lady Peace, huge rock band in Canada. The Tea Party, they're always one of my favorites. Back in the 90s, I was a Tea Party guy. I was super into these guys. Talk about what's going on this weekend.
Yeah, well, we've got a huge concert coming up. Both those bands you just mentioned. Saturday afternoon, we kick off. Gates open at around 3. It's an afternoon and evening, bringing people together. It's about friends, families, coworkers, and neighbors, music fans all coming together for an incredible summer evening. So we're really excited to have those iconic Canadian bands there and help everyone kick off Canada Day and celebrate community together.
So how do you get involved here? Do you just show up, or do you have to buy a ticket in advance, or how does it work?
Yeah. All the tickets are available on Ticketmaster, so you can either find the link through social media or go to greatcanadianbash.com, and there's an easy link to get tickets. We've seen a ton of interest in the last couple of weeks, so things are really ramping up, and we're expecting thousands of people out on Saturday. So it's going to be a very, very exciting event for our community.
John, how are sales at this point?
They've really picked up. We're expecting, so far we've sold over 3,000, and we're expecting probably closer to 4,000 by the time it's all said and done. Definitely seeing a lot of last minute activity as people are finalizing their weekend plans and their Canada Day plans. So we're seeing lots of last minute interest. So it's really, really exciting.
That's good. What number would make you happy?
Like anything over 3,000 or 4,000 is amazing. I mean, really, it's so unbelievable to be able to share those experiences with people. And so much of life right now is happening through screens and on our phones. There's something really special about just bringing large groups of people together and sharing an experience together. And that's what this is all about. It's really about community and fun and connection.
Talk about the timing of this year's event, because with Canada Day being on the Wednesday, I guess it made sense to put this on the weekend ahead of time. But what were you having to juggle when it came to trying to decide where to put it?
Well, this is the second time that we've done this event. So last year, we also did the Great Canadian Bash on the Saturday before Canada Day, kind of the long weekend. And we had 2,500 people out last year for Trooper and Big Sugar. So we're really trying to continue this and build it to keep it always the weekend before Canada Day, and just kick off summer in a really great way.
We've had a number of festivals, unfortunately, saying that they're folding recently. What's the beauty of having a one-day show featuring a number of acts?
Yeah, I think everybody's conscious of budget these days. Money's tight. So we're really trying to find out how can we give people a really special experience in an affordable way where, people that are local don't necessarily have to travel to Vancouver. They can come here. We know Vancouver Island's ready for more major live entertainment. So it's an opportunity to show artists, promoters in the industry that Vancouver Island can support large-scale concerts. So in light of things being canceled, I think we can still really prove that Vancouver Island can hold these types of shows and that they'll be successful.
Well, it is going to be happening this weekend, this Saturday. In fact, it is the Great Canadian Bash in the lead up to Canada Day. Our Lady Peace and the Tea Party are headlining, but there's so many other things. There's going to be some other bands. There's going to be the big the big cook-off, right? What's that? That's 3?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got think of this as Vancouver Island's biggest summer backyard party. Barbecue, cold drinks, great music. We've got local bands Cold Fame and Darian Gerard kicking it off. And just thousands of people celebrating together before the concert with the Tea Party and Our Lady Peace even begins. So we're really excited about that part of the event. And last year it was super fun and it was a beautiful day, and everyone had an amazing time at that. So we're really excited about that part.
Tickets are on sale. Starlight Stadium box office will do if you want to find out where the tickets are. And this is John Derry from Collective Entertainment. Thanks for telling us all about it.
Thanks very much, Ryan and Lisa.
Crazy to think. It's almost here. Canada Day celebrations are starting, and we will be talking about them more as we get into the week. Right now, we got to take a break. 7:30 news next with Lisa.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Celebrate summer at the 59th Annual Saanich Strawberry Festival, Sunday, July 5th, 11 to 4 p.m. at Beaver Beach at Beaver Lake Regional Park.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:31 on this Monday morning in Victoria. We've got a warm day today, a lot of humidity in the air as well. By the end of the week, though, it's cooling off and clouding over and maybe getting wet. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
A lot of people enjoying the wilderness and some people getting into a pickle doing so. It was a busy start to summer for the Alberni Valley Rescue Squad here on Vancouver Island after 4 separate calls in one weekend. It started Friday night. Crews helped a hiker experiencing lower body pain make it to the end of the trail. On Saturday, someone suffered a head injury on the second stage section of the Alberni Inlet Trail and had to be hoisted out. And later that day, rescuers helped boaters with a mechanical issue who got lost trying to walk to safety as well. Another boater got stranded on Sprout Lake. If you're heading out, make sure you've got all your supplies with you. Let someone know where you're going, and make sure you know that number to call if you do get into trouble. Parks Canada says crews in Alberta are trying to combat the deadly fungus called white nose syndrome. The fungal infection can wake hibernating bats. It leads them to burn off their excess fat reserves without food to hunt in the winter. The bats end up starving. Nina Vescala is a biologist with Parks Canada who examined a cave in Jasper National Park that had infected animals. She says the infection can kill off nearly an entire colony of bat roosts with small populations.
So even the bats that survive, there might be not enough of them to kind of huddle and stay warm or even reproduce. So we could be looking at like local extinction, also known as extirpation. The implications of these die-offs could be more severe here kind of in Jasper and in these smaller colonies.
Parks Canada is using a probiotic that's meant to slow the spread of the fungus and a chance of infection on bats and hoping to curb the spread from going further. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer throwing in the towel. He announced this morning that he's resigning. Starmer's support within the ruling Labour Party plummeted following reports that he knew his ambassador to the U.S. had ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. In remarks today, Starmer says he will step aside following an election over the summer.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question. And I accept that answer with good grace.
Which means the revolving door trend continues at 10 Downing Street. The UK Prime Minister resigning after 2 years marks the 7th Prime Minister in 10 years to do so. Alan Greenspan, the authoritative voice of the head of the Federal Reserve in the U.S. for nearly 20 years, has died at age 100.
Appointed by Ronald Reagan, Alan Greenspan knew the global economy was changing, as he once told Congress.
It's becoming increasingly conceptual and less physical, more services and less physical goods.
Greenspan oversaw a period of unprecedented prosperity through the 1990s, but his policies were later blamed for contributing to the housing crisis and global recession of 2008. Brian Clark, ABC News.
And Amazon Prime Day happens tomorrow.
The big sales event runs June 23rd through the 26th, giving Prime members 4 days to grab discounts. Amazon says shoppers can expect major price cuts on electronics, home goods, clothing, and its own devices like Echo speakers and Fire tablets. The company is also rolling out some early deals ahead of the main event. Last year's Prime Day set sales records, and Amazon is expecting another strong turnout as people look for midsummer savings. I'm Monica Nelson.
That's your CFAX News to 7:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. We're asking, do you plan to do any traveling this summer? 51% say it's going to be a road trip. 21% say flying somewhere cool. 28% say nope, staying home. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time, 7:36.
And stand by, because at some point in the show today, we're going to play a song that involves boots. Just has to mention boots somewhere. You remember this?
Boots, yeah.
Do you remember this? We did this a while ago, giving away tickets to see Kinky Boots the musical, the Tony and Grammy Award-winning hit musical that the Broadway and Victoria folks are bringing to Victoria starting July 7th, which is only a couple of weeks from now. And we've managed to find more tickets to give away to see Kinky Boots.
We forced their hand, actually.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So listen to the morning show right here all this week, including today. And when you hear a song that involves boots, that's your cue to call. See how quick you are on the draw. Can you tell when it's the Boots song? And maybe you'll win those tickets. So 250-386-1161. That's the number to call when you hear the Boots song. CFAX 1070 Sports now at the World Cup of Soccer. Well, Team Canada getting ready for Wednesday, so that's one thing that's happening. Wednesday will be the Switzerland match at BC Place Stadium, our last of the group stage games. Canada trying to top the group if we can get the right result. But in the meantime, all sorts of stuff going on today. Let's go through that. 4 games. They're all taking place in the U.S. today. Argentina playing Austria in Dallas. Jordan meets Algeria in San Francisco. France and Iraq will do battle in Philadelphia. And Norway plays Senegal in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Yesterday among the games, there was one at BC Place Stadium. And Egypt had its first ever World Cup victory ever in its history, defeating New Zealand 3-1. It was a little bit of history for BC Place Stadium. Sold-out crowd of 52,000 people. It was quite the do yesterday. For the rest of the sports, let's talk about the Victoria Harbour Cats. They beat the Port Angeles Lefties 15-5 yesterday afternoon. That closed out a 3-game series over the weekend, with Victoria taking 2 out of the 3. Toronto Blue Jays open up a 3-game series tonight against the Houston Astros. Toronto was off yesterday. No score there. And Victoria Shamrocks lacrosse team are on the road. They had an 11-9 win over the Maple Ridge Burrards last night. Shamrocks are now 8 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties on the season. Serena Williams will play singles at Wimbledon after accepting a wild card invitation. The All England club made the announcement 8 days before the grass court Grand Slam starts, and it means that the 44-year-old Williams will play both singles and doubles at Wimbledon after already accepting a wild card for the doubles competition with her older sister Venus. That's your CFAX Sports to 7:39. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 7:40 here on a Monday morning, and things are looking very fine out there. We've got no major problems on the roads, no crashes, no incidents of those natures. That nature? What nature? What am I saying? Anyways, crash-free is what I'm saying. That's the... trying to find the grammar in my sentence. If you do see a problem out there, text me at 71010. But the other thing I'm noticing is very light volume on the West Shore into Victoria. Souk Road Island Highway route into town is just super clear. There's hardly any backups at all. Trans-Canada Highway is slow through the construction zone, but that's really it. There isn't anything else to speak of, so a very easy day. Full closure of Government Street, though, at Bay Street and just a little north of Bay Street. That'll be the case for the next month. 24/7 closure, just fully closed completely until this underground utility work project is done, which they say should take about a month there. No waits at BC Ferries, and the weather's warm today, mainly sunny, highs of 29, a humidex of 31, so feeling even warmer in the humidity. But if you're by the windy Wantafuka Strait today, it's going to feel more like 21 degrees. So we got this wide variety of conditions you might face over the course of your day today, and that's the same story for tomorrow. Then it starts to cool off a bit on Wednesday, then the clouds roll in for Thursday, and by Thursday night or Friday, some rain into the forecast, and then that rain's going to be with us for Friday and Saturday. At least for parts of those days. I don't think it's going to be like a full all-day rain event, but just some showers in the forecast by the end of our week. On the markets, S&P TSX making a few gains today, starting the day up 27 points to 34,884. The Dow in New York is up 217 to 51,581. NASDAQ down 132 to 26,385. Canadian dollar is sitting at 70.6 cents US.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
For the record, it was just a texter who was pointing out that Hillside, Government, Douglas, where all those five...
It was amusing.
Gorge.
Yeah. Someone was musing.
Just reminding us that in history that used to be a roundabout.
Correct.
So that's the only reason this has come up, because I've already had people texting going, those city councillors mecking with our roads, they better put their hands off. No, nobody's suggesting this. Don't worry.
Put the pitchfork down.
No, yes, exactly. Pitchforks down, everybody. We're just saying that in history it used to be a roundabout. But this texter here at 71010, I just want to read a couple of these.
Okay.
This texter says, good morning, Ryan and Lisa. Most drivers can't figure out how to do a four-way stop. Don't make them go in circles. A lot of people don't yield to the vehicles in the circle and just drive through. And then others stop and wait until all of the cars are completely gone from the circle. Oh, my goodness, says Guy. Thank you for the text at 71010.
Yeah, he's right on all accounts there. The thing I really notice now is people treating stop signs as yield signs.
Yeah?
You have to make a legal stop behind the white line. And I'm not saying there's going to be a crackdown or anything or some kind of campaign, but it's kind of chronic now. There's a lot of just don't stop for the white line. don't stop for the stop sign, you don't have to stop for the stop sign. You have to make a legal stop for the intersection.
Okay, I got a question for you, Lisa.
Yep.
You are on a desert highway.
Okay.
There's nobody around.
Yeah.
It's totally flat.
Yeah.
You can see for miles. You come to the only intersection in this desolate, deserted landscape. Tumbleweeds are blowing by.
I know where you're going.
And you've
so
come to the
nice
four-way
picture you're
stop.
painting. Yeah.
Do you come to a complete stop?
So here's my argument.
Or do you kind of slow down, make sure it's all good, and kind of roll through it?
So here's my argument as an instructor.
Right.
If you don't set it to muscle memory and do it regularly, you'll stop doing it altogether. That's what happens.
So
Because as humans, we're inherently lazy. We'll find ways to just skip things. So if you don't commit to making, it's like a habit, right? If you don't commit to the habit, even if you're in a desert with no other vehicles around.
Okay, so it's about establishing the habit.
That's my argument, that creating that muscle memory so that you just do it instinctively.
Right.
Right? It's just part of your daily habit. Where,
that's
no
a good
matter where
answer.
you're driving. So
it's a good answer.
I know what you're saying. And would we maybe in a situation like that, when are you ever in a situation like that?
Oh, it comes up. It comes up.
When you saw Flats, Nevada?
So this is a classic argument my wife and I have, like when we're driving, because she will always be chirping at me for my whether or not
Hopefully she's not listening right now and you called her chirping.
Yeah. We were literally in a desert in South Africa once driving.
You were? Okay, so this is a real thing.
This actually came up, and we had this discussion.
Heated? Behind the wheel?
Yeah, because I came to a rolling stop in this desert with literal tumbleweeds going by, and like, I don't need to have a full stop. I can see for 5 miles down the road.
She said
that yes, you do. It's the law.
I mean, technically,
and she was right.
Technically, she's right. But beyond the law, we have a rule in motorcycling that the road's going to keep you honest.
Right.
Forget the law, forget ICBC, forget all the other stuff. The road is going to keep you honest. If you do that and you do it enough, something will eventually happen.
One more text message to read on a different topic. It is, of course, summer officially.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the first day of summer. Solstice has happened. Texter says, it may be summer, but remember, in 9 weeks, Costco will start their Christmas display. Ho, 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 says Phil. That's the season. At 7:46 now for the headlines. Here's Lisa.
That's so sad, but true.
It is.
2 labor disputes. The union saying nurses in this province voting 2/3, 67% to reject that tentative agreement that they reached in May between the health employer and the bargaining association. The union claims that the tentative agreement included important gains, but the majority of nurses want the government and health employers to recognize the true value of their work. Talks between the U.S. and Iran are scheduled to last all week in Switzerland after their initial meeting yesterday. The two sides, with the U.S. led by Vice President J.D. Vance, held first discussions on the Memorandum of Understanding that aims to come up with a concrete plan to end the war in 60 days. We're counting down here. Iran wants to see assets unfrozen by the end of the fighting between Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. The U.S. wants Iran to give up its nuclear ambitions, including the enrichment of uranium. In the meantime, Iran had said the Strait of Hormuz, that vital corridor for oil, remains open. Actually, wait, the U.S. says it's open. Iran says it's closed. We're somewhere in between with the truth. It all comes after the U.S. Treasury Secretary says the U.S. will now allow Iran to sell oil under the temporary 60-day license. And former U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Alan Greenspan has died at the age of 100. He died today from complications of Parkinson's, according to his wife of 29 years. In his 18 and a half years at the helm of the Fed, Greenspan presided over the sustained era of American growth and prosperity, yet one that ended with devastating consequences in 2008, 2 years after he left the central bank. That was the Freddie Mae and Fannie Mac fiasco in October 2008. That's your news to 7:48.
Coming up next, talking a little BC politics as we kick off the week. Alec Lazenby from the Vancouver Sun reporter is going to be joining us. We want to talk about the BC hydro and electric dam news out of last week. We saw that as one of the things announced last week. Thursday, we also saw Prime Minister Mark Carney and Premier Eby announcing this funding partnership to try to get more housing and infrastructure built, which included $3.2 billion over 10 years to lower development charges and make housing supportive infrastructure like water systems a thing. So let's get into what all this actually means in just a few moments here after traffic and weather.
An iHeartRadio experience. You and a pal with weekend gold tickets to Lasso Montreal. Thomas Red. Mumford & Sons. John Party, Old Dominion, Carly Pierce, and more. And the prize gets even sweeter with flights from Porter Airlines, 3 nights at Residence Inn downtown Montreal, and $1,000 cash. Download the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to this station for 10 minutes and enter to win. Lasso Montreal. Every day you listen is another chance to win.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 7:51. So I'm just reading a text. Hey, Ryan, you should apologize to your wife about using the remark chirping. My kids say that. I know. Maybe that's a generational thing, but my kids are always talking about chirping. People are chirping at you when you're kind of like, giving them sass about something. That's that's where I'm coming for with that. But anyways, let's talk about traffic and weather, where it's actually a very smooth day. We don't have a lot of volume on the West Shore commute into Victoria, comparatively speaking. It's a weirdly light volume situation, so no real delays there. We do have this full closure of Government Street at Bay Street. It's going to be going on for a month now. It's a 24/7 full closure of Government between Bay and John, so that is going on. And then for the weather forecast, we have a warm, sunny day today. Highs hitting 29 degrees, a little humidity, humidex of 31, and then 21 degrees is the temperature if you're by the Wandafuka Strait, where some wind will be blowing. So if you like it cooler, go to the water. If you like it warmer, it's going to be a steamy hot day as soon as you get inland in Greater Victoria, but not right by the water. And then it's the same story tomorrow, and then it kind of cools off on Wednesday, and then the clouds roll in for Thursday and some rain by Thursday night, and then some showers on and off for the next few days after that into the weekend. Right now in Victoria, it's about 15 degrees as the official temperature at the Victoria International Airport.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, let's get into some BC and federal politics with Alec Lazenby, legislative reporter with the Vancouver Sun. Thanks for joining me here, Alec. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
We had a whole bunch of things we wanted to talk to you about, from like dam announcements last week from the BC government, but now I'd really like to talk to you about this thing that kind of came up on late last week, so we had, of course, had the Prime Minister in town, and he was there for the big World Cup game and a lot of focus on the soccer, but he was also making a housing announcement. And one of the things that's kind of crept out of this that I think a lot of people have been talking a bunch about over the weekend is this condo thing. It's an idea, and I don't know much about it, but I'd love to get you to explain a bit more to me about this. So the federal government and the BC government kind of coming together to use some taxpayer dollars to buy vacant condo units and turn them into affordable housing. I know in Vancouver, and I believe Toronto's also kind of been famous for this. There's been this glut of condos that have gone unsold in at least those two markets, and this is, I guess, a plan to maybe turn some of those empty units into affordable housing. So, talk to us about what happened here.
Yeah, so I think it's a way for the province and the federal government to try to address some of these thousands of empty condos that are sitting in Vancouver, Metro Vancouver. CMHC says there's over 4,000 condos that are sitting empty. The housing market has changed. Many developers were building these shoebox condos that were costing upwards of $1 million a piece, and nobody was buying them. And so now the province and the federal government, I gather, are going, okay, we need more housing. We need more affordable housing. We've got all these units sitting empty. Why not go out and buy some of them? Now, the problem is they're looking at buying 2,200 units, which is a good number, but also much fewer than needed in terms of the number of affordable homes. But also at the same time, they're costing $1 million a unit. How much money is the province and the feds going to be spending on this? Is that a good use of the money? And I think that's a lot of the reaction so far. Is this, a handout to developers, or is this, to bail them out for bad business decisions, or is this actually going to move the needle on affordable housing and helping people get into places, making housing more affordable? There's still a lot of unanswered questions. We don't know at this point how the program is really going to work, although we've heard that up to $3 billion split between the province and the feds is going to be used to buy up to 2,200 units. So we'll have to wait for more details when they choose to release them.
Yeah, no, more details to come, but I think a lot of folks have been wondering exactly what you just said. If these units were built and they're not, the little shoebox for $1 million isn't meeting reality, why should the government be coming in to bail it out? Shouldn't those units just kind of come down in price by themselves, to something that's more reasonable for their size? Which I guess the problem with that is if a bunch of developers go out of business because of this change in the market and whatnot, that could be bad for the economy if we see a whole bunch of bankruptcies. But at the same time, is it government's place to step in and socialize the risk of things like development, which is in itself an inherently risky business? I could definitely see why this is getting a lot of people talking over the weekend and debating whether or not this is a good or bad use of money.
Yes, for sure. And I mean, the problem is that so much of our economy, especially in the Metro Vancouver region and partially in the Greater Victoria region as well, is tied up in real estate, is tied up in housing. And so if, the sector faces a significant downturn, that is going to be bad for the economy. At the same time, province and the federal government are wanting to bring down the cost of housing, while maybe not impacting people's property values as much, which is a hard needle to thread, and we've been seeing that with some property values going down. But it's hard to see how this program works, and whether, and a lot of people are questioning whether it's a good idea to be spending $1 million per unit on some of these empty condos that were built when the housing market was different and now are sitting empty because times have changed and people aren't looking or can't afford to buy the shoebox apartments for $1 million.
Yeah, and a lot of them, I mean, I think the argument would be were built for investments or for Airbnbs or those kind of situations rather than being, thing people actually would live in. And that's one of the issues we've got. Anyways, I'm going down a rabbit hole. One last question on that. It is Vancouver specifically, right? It's not like they're going to be doing this in Victoria. This is a Vancouver thing for the condos. It is all of BC's taxpayer money and all of Canada's taxpayer money if the federal government's involved, but it's just Vancouver condos they're talking about, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay. One last thing. We're almost out of time already, but I did want to talk hydro dams because last week as well, BC government talking about maybe more dams. We got the Site C Dam, now the John Horgan Dam completed. Could there be another one? What did we learn from the BC government last week?
Yeah, so Energy Minister Adrian Dix said that the province is looking at Site E, a site down on the Peace River near the Alberta border for a possible next hydro dam after the John Horgan Dam, otherwise known as the Site C Dam, which is now complete, as the province looks to increase its energy capacity, which is ever-growing with an ever-growing population. Also, some dams are facing droughts, so there's a big need for electricity. Now, it's a long way off. This is just, saying that we're thinking about this. They still need to amend the legislation to even allow the dam to move forward, not to mention talk to potentially affected landowners, First Nations, figured out a budget, figure out all of that with, the Site C Dam ended up being double what the original estimate was. And so does the province have the money to build this right now? And so there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that need to be ironed out before it can move forward. So I imagine, they're starting to think about it, but I imagine it's something that's going to be many, many years down the road before it comes to any sort of fruition.
That's a good perspective to have on it. They're floating the idea, but it's not like they're going to start putting shovels in the ground anytime soon on any kind of new dams here in BC. But yeah, do we need that? It's an idea the government is talking about. And Alec Lazenby is the legislative reporter with the Vancouver Sun covering all this. We got to let you go because we're out of time, but thanks so much for giving us the update on those stories.
Thanks so much for having me, Ryan.
We'll take a break. We got the 8 o'clock news next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8:02 on Monday, June 22nd. A little late for the news. So let's get right to it. And here is Lisa Best.
Vic PD reminding us about that planned phone system upgrade this morning. 911 services won't be affected, but their regular line may be. The work is part of the ongoing effort to support new technology and strengthen their long-term reliability in the community. Now, due to this scheduled system upgrade, their non-emergency line at the police station may experience temporary disruptions between now and noon. The temporary non-emergency number will still be active. There's a temporary number that you can call. Again, 911 service is not affected. AI safety advocates say the federal government's proposed online safety legislation is a good start on regulating artificial intelligence chatbots, but they say more work needs to be done to protect Canadians from potential harm.
Bill C-34 was introduced earlier this month in the House of Commons and would regulate the companies behind AI chatbots with measures to lower the risk of chatbots communicating harmful content. It would also put in place crisis intervention protocols for cases involving self-harm, suicide, or violence. The founder of Artificial Intelligence Governance and Safety Canada suggests that AI platforms should be forced to recognize a user's sign of mental health distress, point them to resources, and end the conversation to prevent any harm. Ottawa's efforts come as one New Brunswick mother hopes to hold AI accountable for her daughter's death by suicide. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
Stats Canada says higher gas prices, the price of the pumps, push the annual rate of inflation to 3.2% in May.
That's up from 2.8% in April and marks the first time annual inflation has topped 3% since late 2023. The agency says gas prices rose for the third consecutive month in May, thanks to the Middle East war and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, though progress toward a peace deal has meant prices at the pumps were lower in recent weeks. Meanwhile, higher prices for fresh fruit and vegetables pushed grocery store inflation up 0.5 percentage point to 4.3% in May. Michelle Zedekian, The Canadian Press.
Canada's men's national team centre back, Derek Cornelius, said he used to be able to walk down the street without being recognized, but that's history. He says Canada's run for the World Cup has shone a bright new light on many of the national squad players.
I think for a lot of the guys, maybe when we're playing in our European teams, that when you go out on the street, you could maybe get recognized and ask for pictures and autographs, but not so much in Canada. But honestly, the last 2 weeks, we go out of the hotel and it's like, we're getting swarmed, and it's nice. It means that, the team, people are following, people are really paying attention.
Canada wraps Group B play against Switzerland, Vancouver Wednesday. Ryan unpacks all that in sports for you. But one expert says all this is creating office watch parties, and that's creating conduciveness between employers and employees. Mike Shankman with Robert Half says global events like this bring energy back into the workplace, especially with matches happening right across the pond in Vancouver.
It really gives employers the opportunity to galvanize people with that shared experience. And you're seeing that where, smart employers are not trying to compete with it. They're harnessing that energy and leaning into it. And it's a great way to build that connection.
However, he does say it's important for employers to set clear expectations around flexibility with the game times, especially Wednesday at 3, as celebrations aren't too disruptive to your workday. That's your news to 8:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. This morning we're asking, what are your plans for travel this summer? 51% say it's going to be a road trip. 21% are going to fly somewhere cool. And 28% say they're staying put. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 8:07.
Thank you, Lisa. We are taking a look at a very warm day today. Humidity, mugginess in the air. A humidex of 31 degrees. 29 is the high otherwise. 21 by the water, though. So the temperatures are very all over the place. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. But right now, let's get over to the sports, and let's start with the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Favored Spain got its first win 4-0 over Saudi Arabia. Also in Group H, tiny Cabo Verde, the second smallest country at the World Cup, stunned Uruguay with a 2-2 tie.
Sensational from Cabo Verde! Their first ever goal!
Egypt won atop Group G with a come-from-behind 3-1 win over New Zealand. Also in Group G, Belgium and Iran drew 0-0. Today, unbeaten defending champion Argentina meets 1-0 Austria. France takes on Iraq. Norway faces Senegal, and Jordan takes on Algeria. Canada resumed training on Sunday for its crucial next match. Wednesday, they'll take on Switzerland at 3 p.m. Eastern. A win or a tie, and Canada will finish first in the pool and play its first knockout game in Vancouver. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, there you go. There's the World Cup. Let's take a quick look at a few local sports things. Victoria Harbour Cats baseball team beating the Port Angeles Lefties 15-5 yesterday afternoon. This was on the road over just across the strait in Port Angeles. This closes out a 3-game series over the weekend with Victoria taking 2 of the 3 games. In lacrosse, the Victoria Shamrocks lacrosse team also on the road. They had an 11-9 win over the Maple Ridge Burrards last night. Shamrocks are now 8 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties on the season. That's your CFAX Sports to 8:09. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 8:10 here on a Monday morning, and the roads are looking very clear. Comparatively speaking, not a lot of volume out of the West Shore into Victoria, so a fairly easy day. If you see any problems, though, crash or other sort of snag, let me know at 71010. Or maybe let me know how Government Street is affecting things, because a full closure started today. Bay Street to John Street. That's sort of almost up towards where Hillside is. It's not quite closed all the way at Hillside, but sort of Bay Street, then halfway up the block towards Hillside is where this full closure is. It's 24/7 full closure of the road. It's going to be going on for a month. Has that been affecting the morning commute at all? You can let me know at 71010. For the BC Ferries, no sailing weights, and for the weather forecast, warm one today, humid, a humidex of 31 degrees. Otherwise, the temperature is a high of 29. But it's also a high of 21 by the water, where the wind will be blowing off the Wantafuka Strait. So very different conditions today, depending on where you are, with a mostly sunny sky for everybody. Clear skies will kind of take us into the beginning of this evening, but we're clouding over a little bit overnight. Lows down to 14. Mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow. Temperatures are very the same as today. Just another really warm day tomorrow. Then it starts to cool off a bit on Wednesday. It clouds over on Thursday with the rain arriving either Thursday night or into Friday. Then we got some rain for sort of Friday, Saturday. Right now, for the temperatures outside here in Esquimalt, we're sitting at 16 degrees, which is what it's at the airport as well. On the markets, let's take a look at the Toronto S&P TSX first off, where we have seen gains of 155 points on the day to 35,012. The Dow up 121 to 51,886, and the Nasdaq down 328 to 26,189. Canadian dollar at 70.7 cents US, and inflation numbers are out today. Inflation has jumped to 3.2% in May, thanks in part to higher gas prices, according to Statistics Canada.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
me past the city limit sign where there's a honky-tonk near the county line. The joint starts jumping every night when the sun goes down.
Why is Brooks and Dunn on? What's going on here?
They got whiskey, women, music, and smoke. It's where all the cowboy folk go to boot scoot boogie.
Oh, it's because he said the word boot.
I love it.
That's what's happening.
Got a good job. I work hard for my money. When it's quitting time, I hit the door running. I fire up my pickup truck and let the horses run.
So boots is what's going on here.
I go flying down that highway to that hideaway, stuck out in the woods to do the boot scoot boogie.
So we're playing songs that have to do with boots. Because we went and found in the cupboard somewhere a bunch of Kinky Boots tickets. 2 weeks from now almost.
Right.
It's not next week, the week after. Kinky Boots, the Tony and Grammy Award-winning musical, is coming to the Royal Theatre. And then they're going to be doing several shows between July, I think it's 7th and 10th.
Yes.
We've got a few tickets to give away still. We found more. So all this week, we will play a song each morning show that references boots.
Okay.
These aren't songs from Kinky Boots.
No.
These are just boot songs.
Just boot songs for you to enjoy.
And when you hear a boot song, call 250-386-1161 for your chance to win the tickets. So let's go to the phone line right now. I'm just going to randomly pick up the phone line. Here we go. This is a random phone line.
Yes.
Who's this? Hello? Are you there? Hello? Nope.
Hello?
Nobody's there. Let's go to another one. Hello? Who's this?
Hello?
Calvin.
Hi.
Calvin, you
Hi.
You have correctly heard a song that involves boots.
Yes. Excellent.
Do you know what that means?
That's great. Yes, I think I do.
Oh, good.
That means I play this this fun little sound effect for you right now. Because you are going to see Kinky Boots the musical. I got 2 tickets to give you to the Royal Theatre. Thank you so much for calling in. What are you up to this morning?
Oh, just working.
Just working.
Well, this is a nice perk for your Monday.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a great Monday, nice and sunny, and Kinky Boots tickets.
Hey, you can't get better than that. Hang on the line there. We'll get your information off the air, and we'll make sure you get the tickets. And be like Kelvin there and listen for a boot song tomorrow. Right now, 8:15. Let's get to the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. Just 1 week after some lost Canadians were told to surrender their new citizenship certificates, a few received letters over the weekend confirming their citizenship claims are once again considered valid. The department had said a few dozen people who received proof of citizenship under Canada's Citizenship by Descent law received letters early this month demanding they surrender their paperwork for further review. Now, a new confirmation letter says their citizenship was reconfirmed through a thorough review of their case. The letter also says the recipient was told to surrender their certificate on June 13th following a review of the documents submitted to obtain it. The Immigration Department has been notifying individuals who are under review that their Canadian passports are no longer valid and must be returned. Immigration Minister Lena Dapp says that her department has not said what led to this review in the first place, but lots of confusion in this department for new Canadians. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer will remain as caretaker of the Labour Party until they choose a new leader following his resignation announcement earlier today. Starmer was forced out by his own party after domestic missteps and economic stagnation soured voter goodwill. Though he led the Labour Party to a landslide general election just 2 years ago, his popularity has since plummeted. Incoming Member of Parliament Andy Burnham is expected to succeed him after winning a special election, officially confirming his leadership bid on social media. But the revolving door, that is 10 Downing Street, continues. Starmer's resignation after 2 years marks the 7th Prime Minister to do so in 10 years in England. And that is your news to 8:17.
Thank you, Lisa. And yeah, that UK politics thing,
Isn't it crazy?
Wild how many prime ministers they've had in the last 10 years.
Try
it's
to
like a
keep
prime
up.
minister a year almost if you average it out.
Yeah.
Keir Starmer lasting about 2 years. But I mean, you had Liz Truss, who lasted as long as the head of lettuce, if you remember that, when that took place.
Fresh produce lasts longer?
Yeah, they put a webcam on a head of lettuce with some newspaper in the US, in the UK, and the countdown was, will Liz Truss last as long as this lettuce does before it goes bad. And the lettuce outlasted Liz Truss.
That's a unique form of shade, throwing shade.
No, really. Yeah, the British know how to do it in ways
actually.
Nobody else can. But anyways, that's just an example of the turmoil in British politics. And there you go. Today, another big piece of drama with Keir Starmer announcing he's going to step down.
Yeah, and there's really no security for the British public going through all this.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a little deep dive into British politics at some point this week. That'd be kind of interesting. But let's do this right now. We're going to take a break and talk about much more local things going on. You know how we've had the provincial government setting these mandates for housing, municipalities have had to create certain amounts of housing and have been given targets.
Yeah.
Well, the Provincial Housing Advisor Report has come back for North Saanich. And now the housing minister has issued 4 directives to that district, including delegating minor development variance permits to municipal staff, updating parking requirements, reducing minimum lot sizes for secondary units. The minister also directed North Saanich to confirm in its second-year progress report that it has removed the residential designation from airport land after council didn't immediately comply with Transport Canada's request to update its OCP to do so in the fall. So that all came out of the province.
Lots going on there.
So we're going to get a reaction to all that from the mayor of North Saanich, Peter Jones, who's going to join us in just a moment. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, no crashes at the moment. Very light volume from the West Shore into Victoria. It's definitely easier going than usual trying to get from the West Shore into the core area. We have a full closure of government streets. This is around about Bay Street. That's going to be 24/7 and lasting a month. It kicks in today. A new roadwork problem to watch out for. No sailing waits at BC Ferries. is the weather is very warm today. We've got a mainly sunny day. We're going to see highs of 29, but some humidity in the air making it feel warmer. But then a temperature by the coastline where the wind will be blowing off the Wandafuka Strait that's more like 20 degrees. So it's going to be very mixed today, depending on where you are. Tonight, lows down to 14. Tomorrow, same thing with the heat and the humidity, cooler by the water. It cools off a little bit on Wednesday. The clouds really start rolling in by Thursday, and we get some rain by Thursday night or Friday, and some rain with us Friday and maybe into Saturday as well. Right now for Victoria, the temperature is 16 degrees.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
So the BC government and its advisor to North Saanich on housing has said that North Saanich's official community plan is sort of standing in the way of creating more housing. At least that's the take, as that municipality, like many, have been given housing targets by the province. There are advisors advising, and that's the latest advice, that there's a little bit of trouble trying to build housing in North Saanich. So let's weigh in on this with Peter Jones, Mayor of North Saanich. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Looking forward to the conversation.
So I've kind of really quite dramatically just paraphrased and summed up my own take on what this report says. Why don't you explain to us first off what the provincial housing advisor has told your council?
Well, first of all, the Minister of Housing, early last week, phoned me and informed me that the report was coming out, and about 30 minutes later it came out. There's been no discussion with the advisors since the initial discussion I had with them, which was for a number of minutes, which was all of mayor and council and staff discussed. So once the report came out, there was no discussion. So we've received it, and I've got staff pouring through it and doing an in-depth review that they will present to council next Monday.
Okay, so no official council reaction then, but just from your take as the mayor, what do you think about what you've been told?
The report itself, my view is it's very well written and very well researched. Much of what the report has asked for, we've already had staff undertaken for updates to the OCP when the time is right. And of course, that time is right is once the bylaws are done, because it would match with the bylaws. There are certainly some items in there, such as smooth, I call it smooth, but which is higher density housing, which it brings into North Saanich. And I disagree with the change of the urban containment boundary, but that's my personal view. And when I campaigned, that was my view as well, not to change it. If we have to change it, that's absolutely fine. The government has that ability to do it. The question becomes, which is the most contentious item in the in the report? Is the SNU. Because of people in the community think you're going to have 4-story, 6-story towers or buildings, condo buildings. That's not going to be the case for a long time. And of course, the reason being is to change the urban containment boundary, we're informed by the CRD, takes at least 2 years. And SMU is dependent upon the government legislation with regard to transportation and frequency. And the frequency is 15 minutes or less. And if it doesn't have that, as it stands right now, SMU will not come in.
And sorry, you're saying, SMU? Just to sort of unpack that term for a second. What is that?
That's the, I've forgotten the terminology now, but it's the one where it's it's the highest density that the province is recommending, and it's predominantly for areas such as New Westminster and other built-up areas. So what would happen is, in many areas, what we're getting is that with the higher density, there's less parking, there's less common areas, and it really fills in the lot. And it's quite contentious in Sydney, as an example, where you've got the smaller lots and then you've got a 6-story condo building because of that's SM. I can't remember the initials now.
I did a quick Google. A small scale multi-unit housing. That's what it stands for. I got you. Sorry, I just was trying to catch up.
I don't have my computer in front of me, so I guess I should have.
Oh no, it's all good. I just want to make just making sure I'm following. Okay, so
that's right.
That's one of the things. Another thing is this airport lands thing, and I just wanted you to get to explain this to me, because one of the things the provincial housing advisor reported back on was something to do with the airport lands and the zoning there. What's going on with that?
Simple. What it is, first of all, I don't think that the consultant has the ability to say that. That's federal lands. I believe it was in 2009. The overarching zoning, especially residential zoning, was on the airport. It got removed without council approval, and we simply put it back on. Also, what we've been doing by the airport and is saying that there's no residential on airport lands. That's incorrect. Staff has been in consultation with the Ministry of Transportation in Ottawa. We have a little bit of a stop there right now because one department of the Ministry of Transportation is saying, yes, you can put housing on there, but make it a pilot project. And we have a different department saying no. So it's something that's being researched. We just didn't suddenly decide to do it. What threw me in the report itself, it said that the housing on the airport, should it go in, is included in our OCP numbers. That's a surprise to me, and I've got staff looking at that because that was never the intent by council for those numbers to be included in the OCP.
Okay, so hang on. I just want to make sure I'm following. So that you got the airport land, right? It's federal land, I guess. Yeah, that's one thing. The municipality has a zoning for parts of that airport land, which is residential, but the federal government says, no, you can't do that because this is federal land. You can't have zoning for it. Is that the idea that's happening here?
No, that's what CBRE is saying, and that's what the provincial government has agreed with, but they're both incorrect.
Okay, so the North Saanich says, no, we can zone this for residential. This is within our purview, and they're saying, no, it's not. So that's the disagreement.
Correct, except for the fact that, again, North Saanich staff has been talking with Ottawa, with the Ministry of Transportation, and one department there says, yes, we can put housing on airport lands, predominantly which is called excess land. And YYJ, which is Victoria Airport, has a lot of excess land.
Okay, so and if the airport were to build some housing on some of that excess land, your argument is, well, this is, within North Saanich, we should be able to zone for it.
Correct. Because what we're looking at, what we're potentially looking at, especially on one particular piece of property, which borders Kenora, where there's transportation, where there's services, is that the airport would, which is federal land again, would lease it to, as an example, Habitat for Humanity, and approximately 120 units could be built there, a combination of worker housing, senior housing, and low-income housing.
Okay, and if it does, that could help you, just back to the beginning of our conversation, with your housing targets.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right across the road from that, which is Kenora, which is Sydney. They've zoned single-family homes there now for townhomes, 3-story townhomes. So 60, 80 feet away, you've actually got densities and housing for the type that we would like to put on the North Saanich side, which happens to be federal land.
Look, we're right at a time, but there's obviously a lot to unpack here. I think we only just sort of scratched the surface of it. But again, the BC Housing Advisor to North Saanich has done this report, which has just been received last week, taking issue with a few of the things in the OCP, saying that they should be changed. And as you've just been mentioning, we were talking to Mayor Peter Jones here, Mayor of North Saanich. Some of those things are already being worked on. There's these disagreements over the airport zoning too, but a lot of stuff to work out here. But as you said, Council's still kind of officially just receiving this and getting a report back, so I guess the discussion will continue.
It sure will. Thank you.
Okay, cheers. Thank you so much for talking to us. We got to take a break. We got the 8:30 news next.
Get ready to strut, Victoria. The Tony and Grammy Award-winning hit musical Kinky Boots is coming to the Royal Theatre this July. And CFAX 1070 wants to send you to opening night. Based on true events, Kinky Boots follows the journey of an unlikely pair who discover that you change the world when you change your mind. Tickets are on sale now. Or you could win your way in with CFAX. Listen to Mornings with Ryan and Lisa for your chance to win. Details at CFAX1070.com.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 8:33. A little late for the news here. Let's get right to it. Here's Lisa.
A couple new fires on Vancouver Island coming out of the weekend. 3, in fact, but they haven't gotten far. North Vancouver Island, there's a blaze southwest of Port McNeill. That's along Island Highway. The perimeter of that's being considered held. One discovered after 9 last night is located northwest of Shawnigan Lake along Mountain Road. Another small one under control as well started Saturday on the northeastern flank of Port Alberni. There's now 20 fires burning across BC this morning. That's up from a dozen on Friday. A wildfire burning near Lytton has been growing away from the community now. The weather's been helping the fight against it. More than 230 properties that were affected by evacuation orders and alerts in the area due to the fire, which has now shut down a more than 100-kilometer stretch of Highway 1. Next week will mark 5 years since a wildfire destroyed much of the village of Lytton and also killed 2 people. Canada is expecting to choose a supplier soon for those dozen new submarines, a contract worth tens of billions of dollars to replace the aging Victoria-class fleet. The competition is largely centered on bids from Hanwha Ocean and TKMS, with Hanwha drawing attention through an unusually aggressive public advertising campaign. Unlike most sub-procurements, the public discussion has focused more on industrial and economic benefits than the actual technical capabilities of the vessels. A decision is expected before the upcoming NATO summit, with both bidders promising to strengthen Canada's naval and defense capabilities. A lot of talk about housing this morning on the CFAX Morning Show, but not all condo fees are built equal. Eliam Danji is a certified financial planner at Asante Financial Management. He says it is very important that you look at what fees cover and that how that sits with your budget and monthly cash flow before you sign in ink.
If it is actually absorbing all your other savings, like you're not able to set aside money for emergencies anymore, you can't save for your own retirement anymore because of the condo fees, then that should be a red flag.
The condo fee also contributes to reserve funds, which pays for future repairs and larger maintenance projects. Think roof over your head and windows, too. If it's not well funded, condo owners will be forced to foot a heftier bill and kick more into the pot when the changes come due. The U.S. President says work will begin immediately to repair the peeling lining at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pools. Administration official confirms at least 5 people now have been arrested on vandalism charges. On the Start Here podcast today, ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang explained much of this is being footed again by the American taxpayers.
First of all, the companies that renovated the pool were awarded no-bid contracts worth nearly $15 million, despite having virtually no federal experience doing federal contracts. Then the cost is actually more than that, because the Park Service is paying more than $1.7 million to a company to install that nanobubble system to kill the algae.
The company that applied the coating says, yes, it will need to be drained again. That's your news to 8:37. Your CFAX 1070 news poll. It's officially summer. This is the official first day, full day of summer. We're asking, do you have plans to travel the next couple of months? 48% say they're going to be taking a road trip. 32% nope, staying home. And 20% are flying somewhere cool. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 8:38.
Thanks, Lisa. Let's just quickly look at the weather and get you ready for what's going to be a hot day. So prepare for some humidity in the air, a high of 29, but feeling even muggier and warmer. Although if you're right by the windy one, if you go straight, it's going to be much more moderate. Full details to come, but that's just what you can expect as you strike out into this Monday. Let's do CFAX 1070 Sports now, where the Victoria Harbour Cats had a win over the Port Angeles Lefties yesterday afternoon. 15-5 was the score. That closes out a 3-game series over the weekend between those two teams in Port Angeles, with Victoria taking 2 of the 3. Victoria Shamrocks, the cross team, also on the road. Last night it was an 11-9 win over the Maple Ridge Burrard. Shamrocks are now 8 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties on the season. They'll play again next weekend, also on the road. We have 4 games in the World Cup today. All take place in the U.S. Argentina taking on Austria in Dallas. Jordan meeting Algeria in San Francisco. France and Iraq will do battle in Philadelphia. And Norway plays Senegal in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Last night at BC Place Stadium at the World Cup, Egypt secured its first ever victory in a World Cup ever, defeating New Zealand 3-1. It was a sold-out crowd of 52,000 people, apparently, and a lot of Egyptian jerseys there in the stands. So that is what's happening for the World Cup. Real quick, just want a quick hockey thing to mention. The Ottawa Senators are moving forward without their captain and sort of the face of the franchise for the last number of years, Brady Tkachuk, who spent 8 years in the nation's capital, was traded yesterday to the Florida Panthers, where he'll join forces with his older brother Matthew. And in exchange, Ottawa will receive 4 draft picks from the Panthers, including Florida's first-round 9th overall pick later this year. That's your sports to 8:40. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather, 8:41 now on the morning commute, and it's been lighter than normal from the West Shore into Victoria, and that continues to be the case. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. Full closure on Government Street from Bay to John. That's just sort of Bay and then north for half a block there. That is a new thing as of today, and it's going to be a thing for 24/7 for the next month. Watch out for that full closure of Government Street. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits. For the weather, here's a bit more detail. I mentioned this sort of the warm mugginess. So a mainly sunny day, highs of 29, a little bit of humidity in the air, but also cooler by the water with a 21-degree high if you're right by the windy one, if you can straight. So that's today's forecast. It's also tomorrow's forecast. But then it clouds over on Thursday, rain by Thursday night. Friday, some showers. We might see some showers to begin Saturday as well. We'll see how that long-range forecast shapes up. But the bottom line is we kind of cool off and we get some clouds and some rain by the end of the week, but very warm and muggy for today and tomorrow. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto up 161 points at this hour to 35,019. The Dow is up 160 to 51,725. NASDAQ down 281 to 26,236. Canadian dollar at 70.6 cents US.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
An update on a story from last week. Canada's oldest Chinese temple still closed after it was suddenly caught up in that fire earlier in the week, leaving significant damage to not just the temple, but several historic artifacts within it. This is the Tam Kung Temple. It's right on Government Street, right across from the gates of Harmonious Interest there. It's, the Smoking Lilies, the T-shirt shop on the ground floor.
Yep.
Then you go up to the 3rd floor, and that's where the temple is, and that's where the fire was.
That's where it initiated, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got the president of the Yen Wu Society joining us in just a few moments to kind of get a sense of how things are about a week on. how are they dealing with this? What's the damage looking like? What is going to happen with the temple kind of moving forward? So we're going to be talking about that and getting that update next.
Yeah, because obviously crucial artifacts inside, and we'd like to know what the status of those, if any, were lost to the flames, which would be terribly unfortunate. But it took a while for them to actually gain access too, because fire crews had to give them a green light to make sure it was safe first before they went back in the building.
Yeah. Okay. So that update is coming up next here on the CFAX Morning Show. We also just will remind you that we did give away our pair of Kinky Boots tickets already, but all this week, Kinky Boots the musical coming to the Royal Theatre. This is not next week, but the week after, because it's almost here, sort of July 7th, and then onwards for a few days. This Tony and Grammy Award-winning musical at the Royal Theatre. We've got pairs of tickets to give away every day this week, and what we're doing is we're going to play a song that references boots somehow.
Yes.
That's our boot contest.
We've done this before.
Yeah.
If it seems familiar.
We
recently.
brought it back. And we're doing it all this week. Today's tickets are already gone, but there's still a chance to listen tomorrow. So, yeah, and you never know what it's going to be. You're just going to have to leave the radio on and listen for boots.
Okay.
Almost 8:45. Let's get a look at the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Muslim groups and the federal culture minister Mark Miller reacting after Imam was assaulted in Victoria last week. The BC Muslim Association says the Imam was sitting in his vehicle near his home on Thursday when someone attempted to force open the car door and then assaulted him. A spokesperson for the association says the Imam suffered light head injuries, but luckily was well enough to conduct prayers on Friday. In a social media post, Miller called the assault appalling and vile. Prime Minister Mark Carney was on the island on the weekend, coming over from Vancouver. He was in Nanaimo yesterday to mark Indigenous Peoples Day. The Prime Minister visited an exhibit on the Shinnemak culture on the Nanaimo Museum, which is led by Elder William White. Carney was given a wool nobility blanket, traditionally made by the First Nation for high-ranking leaders. Also, he received a headpiece made of cedar. The day honored, of course, the culture, histories, and contribution of First Nations, Inuit, Métis people coast to coast. And a national cannabis group lobby representing licensed producers and processors is suspending operations, citing challenges tied to the unregulated cannabis market. The Cannabis Council of Canada says the decision reflects the headwinds facing the industry as the companies are challenged by financial pressures, complex regulations, and what they call the highly active illicit market. The organization says these pressures have put too much strain on producers and the processors it represents. And the council's president says the organization has been calling on Ottawa to do something about the unregulated market. But they say this generates billions of dollars in revenue, and the majority of them remain unprofitable because of illicit drugs. That's your news to 8:46.
We'll do our traffic and weather check in just a moment. If you see something out there, crash, accident, or some other problem, maybe just letting me know how this Government Street full closure at Bay Street is affecting the morning commute, let me know at 71010. And then we'll check in on the temple fire from last week, the Tam Kung Temple. How are the folks there dealing with the aftermath? That's next. CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. The time in Victoria is 8:49. Things are looking pretty typical out there. Actually, I got to take that back. It's looking better than typical. It's a lighter than usual volume delays at the west shore to Victoria. Things are moving all pretty smoothly other than this full closure of government at Bay. If you see a crash or anything else, text us at 71010. No waits at BC Ferries. The next sailing is the 9. Lots of room left on the vehicle deck for your vehicle if you're taking the 9 o'clock from Swartz Bay to Swassen in about 10 minutes. And for the weather forecast, a warm one today, mainly sunny. Highs of 29, but a humidex of 31. Cooler by the water, 21 is more the temperature if you're by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait today. That same forecast plays out again tomorrow. Cools off a bit for Wednesday. The clouds roll in on Thursday, and by Thursday night or Friday, we get a chance of showers into the forecast. Right now, the temperature at the airport is 16 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
All right, checking in on what is Canada's oldest Chinese temple. We're talking about the Tam Kung Temple, where that fire took place last week. Well, several days on, how is the situation right now? What does it look like when it comes to damage? What else have we learned? Let's check in with Nora Butts, president of the Yenhua Society, joining us on the line right now. Hello, how are you?
Hi, fine. I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. What's it like at the temple right now? What's the state of things?
Well, we actually haven't been allowed to go in. They're still assessing the damage, but we have seen photos the fire department kindly submitted to us. The temple itself is...
Oh, are you still there? Sorry,
Yes.
You dropped out there for a second. You were just about to mention the temple itself is what?
The temple itself is absolutely demolished. So, and we're just absolutely heartbroken. We've been there. It's the oldest Chinese temple in Canada and a National Historic Site dedicated last year. But amazingly, our deity, Tam Kung, that the temple is designed to honor, he survived unscathed. It's really a miracle. He's not a scorch mark on him where everything around him has burnt. And so because of that, we are planning to rebuild and reconstruct a new temple in his honor. So, but unfortunately, we did not have content insurance in the building. We did have building insurance. So it's going to take quite some time for us to rebuild. And a lot of our artifacts were destroyed. So we're not sure how we can, have duplicates made or recover anything, from China or whatever to repair the temple.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of questions still, but a desire to rebuild. And before we move on, I just want to go back to that statuette you talked about, your deity, the Tam Kung.
Yes.
What a remarkable story that the whole temple is basically, like you said, devastated by this fire, except for the deity, which is okay. And I understand that particular statuette has a very interesting history. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, the deity came to Canada in the early 1800s by a pioneer. Our deity is supposed to be the protector of seafaring people and mariners. And so the pioneer that came to Canada brought him for protection as he was crossing the ocean, which was vast. And then it settled in Victoria. He was a member of the Hakka people, dialect of East. And so found like-minded, same dialect speakers to help take care of the statuette. And ultimately was moved to Government Street, and the first temple was built in early 1900s. But in 1911, it also burnt down. And the same thing, the statuette survived. And so the Hakka people got together and donated their money and put the temple in the building it is now. It's on the 4th floor. And so it sat there until the 80s, and there was another fire in the temple at that time, a smaller one. But again, he survived. So this is the third fire he has survived. Now, he's actually made of wood. So you would think that would be one of the first things that would burn. But somehow or other, he miraculously has survived 3 fires. And so with that, each time the temple was rebuilt in his honor.
Nora, what are fire investigators saying about the destruction and then the statuette that miraculously came out unscathed?
Well, they're still doing an investigation, I believe. And and we haven't been allowed actually physically inside the building. And so, we actually don't know, exactly what happened. The floors underneath the temple, there was no fire damage, but there's been extensive water damage. So there'll be a lot of cleanup to do.
Do you see this as a sign of sorts?
I don't know if it's a sign of sorts, but because the deity survived, that is definitely a sign for us to rebuild. If anything had happened to him, that might have been different. But because of that, and each time the temple was rebuilt in his honor, then I guess that's our message, is that we need to rebuild. And because we had no insurance, I think, looking towards the community and wherever to see if we can get some support, and people would come forth with maybe artifacts that they might have preserved from other times or whatever, or monetarily we could rebuild from that.
If you, again, this is all very early because this fire only happened last week. Like you said, you haven't been even allowed yet into the space because of the investigations that continue and the damage to the temple. But, if you are to move forward and rebuild, do you hope to rebuild in the same spot? Would you have to go to a new location? Do you have any sense of what that future might look like?
Oh, definitely in the same spot. Okay. Because I'm the president of the Yenhua Society. Now, that society was formed in about 1911 specifically to be the caretaker of the Tamgong Temple. So they own the building that Tamgong is housed in. And as the caretaker of the building and society, our main project would be to rebuild. And it would be in the same spot, whether it's on the top floor or not, but that we have to wait and see.
We are talking to Nora Butts, the president of the Yenhua Society, and we're talking about that aftermath of the fire last week at the Tamkung Temple. We're just about at a time, but it sounds like, you're still in the middle of it now, but there's this desire to rebuild. You just have to figure that out from here on. Any final messages you want to share before we let you go?
Well, I just wanted to thank all the people that have, sent their wishes in and that were in their thoughts and stuff. It's been very kind, and want to thank the first responders that were there right away and saved what they could. Otherwise it would have been much worse. The building is still intact, and I think we can definitely, fix it up and stuff. But that's my message, is to thank everybody that's been there for moral support already.
Well, good luck, and thanks for sharing those stories. What a remarkable thing that, like you said, the deity managed to survive the fire. This wooden object survives the fire. That is a truly cool thing to hear about. Thank you for sharing the story.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right. Well, we're out of time, but thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll be with you tomorrow.